Hello, fellow homebrewers. JP here, and I want to introduce to you the brand new Brewbuilt X1 Conical Series available at More Beer. More Beer sells the highest standard in homebrewing equipment, and the Brewbuilt Conicals are just that. They're made from mirror-polished 304 stainless steel, and they come with loads of features that you and I have been looking for. They have a full 2-inch bottom dump valve, which will eliminate your clogging issues, while the sturdy base includes 4 reinforced legs, just like those big Pro tanks do. More Beer also carries the Brewbuilt line of options and add-ons like casters, pressure kits, and even external glycol chillers. So you can find out more about the new Brewbuilt X1 Conical Unitanks by going over to morebeer.com for detailed videos on the entire line of Brewbuilt Conicals. You can trust Brewbuilt with your next fermentation, and you can trust More Beer to find the right conical for you. Brewbuilt at morebeer.com.
Home brewers, craft brewers, beer lovers, beer drinkers.
Get ready for an all-new experience in information exchange and beer culture.
Your only source for live beer radio that brings expert brewers from around the globe
right to your home.
You're not just listening to broadcasters, it's the Brewcasters
on the Brewing Network.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Brewcast. Sorry about the late start. 5 minutes never hurt anybody. I'm going to change the name of 5 o'clock, the song, to 5:05. I think it'll be slightly more accurate.
Make it 5:10, so we're on a safe side.
That way people think we're early all the time when we come on at 5:05. Welcome, everybody. In the studio with us today, of course, is Dr. Scott, who will be a bit of a silent doc tonight. I know it's hard to believe. It's not his own fault. It's the fault of his vocal cords.
Yeah, they're kind of gone.
Oh, my God. If I got to listen to that all night.
Beautiful area. Right?
Hey, I'm going to blame Sully on this one.
Yeah.
I was sick, right after you left.
You sound like something out of a horror movie.
It's tough in there, especially when I want to yell and scream and nothing comes out.
Yeah.
Can you not compress his voice somehow?
I gotta do something about it. I'll tell you, we could have put anybody in that chair. People wouldn't. You don't sound anything like Dr. Scott. No one would know.
It's okay.
Seriously, this voice gives me the chills. Yeah. It runs ice cold down my back.
But the show,
I do it for you, baby.
Yeah. The show must go on, as Dr. Scott always says, so despite his ailments, he's here with us. And I'll do you guys a favor and just keep him low, except at the very important moments. We do have lots of good stuff for you today. An interesting show. I have some announcements that need to be made about various things. One of them having to do, with last week's show, which was, interesting, to say the least. Let me make my other announcements first, and then I'll get into that whole business so that you chatters can know what's going on with the weird changes in the chat room today. First of all, please visit the Brewing Network store. Shirts and podcasts are available. The 1 Hour Boil, John Palmer's still there. And we still have some shirts left. I'll be ordering new ones, but not again until January, so get in there while you can. Sign up for our newsletter. New one's about to come out in just a couple weeks, where we'll fill you in on what's happening for December, or Doc-cember, as some people like to call it.
I do.
And the last announcement is that there will be no show next week. There's no show next week. We're actually on the East Coast. We will be putting together some material for you, some film and maybe some audio too, different breweries while we're on the East Coast. But we're not doing a show. So don't tune in here for entertainment next Sunday. You won't get it.
Not like they get it any other time.
Yeah, as if you're gonna get it this week. Okay, now I need to talk about this briefly because it's necessary. Because people need to know what's happening. The chat room last week, shame on you people.
Shame.
Got a little crazy. If you want to know all the, details of how I feel, of course it's already in the forum. I've posted there under Beer Radio, so I'm not going to...
4 pages of it.
Yeah, exactly. I had a lot to say, and I'm not going to rehash all of that. Other than the chat room, previously belonged 100% to you folks. It was your domain, and you could do whatever you want in there. And I assumed that the community would moderate itself. And I guess it wasn't just that the people in the chat room got a little crazy and a lot of cussing and a lot of insulting going on, a little beyond what normal. I guess it wasn't just that it happened last week. I got a lot of private messages from different people who have been using the chat room, and also some new people. And a lot of those said that it had been building up to that point. It wasn't just last week. It sort of been getting kind of crazier and crazier. And I've always been anti-moderator, anti-admin, but for now, we now have a moderator in the chat room, and we will at all times. I read through the transcript of the chat last week, so I know who's doing what in there, and I know where things are going. I also know that some of you who think you had nothing to do with it had a lot to do with it. So I just want you all to, look inwardly at your behavior. The chat room no longer belongs 100% to you, because I do have to protect new users that come in there. And you got to assume that someone hears about the Brewing Network, comes into the chat room for the first time, thinks it sounds like a great beer community, and everyone's dropping F-bombs all over the place, and gay this and gay that. And even when the main person in the chat room, who's Daniela, tells people over and over, hey, let's just relax a little, let's get rid of the profanity for a little bit. When all that goes ignored, then I have to go ahead and just kind of set some new rules, because we need to protect the new people that come in there. I really want this to be a welcoming place. We have sponsors that have everything that we do is a reflection of them as well. And so not only do I have to take care of you folks, but I got to take care of them too. There's a lot of different angles we got to look at. So Daniela now has the ability to silence you, to kick you out, to ban you permanently. She has all powers. She's what's called a super administrator.
And she's German.
And she's, exactly, as Chris Graham's pointing out.
Took me 1.5 years to gain those rights.
So she really actually doesn't feel good about all those powers and doesn't want to have to use them, and I assume she won't unless you make her. So just everybody be cool. Be nice to each other, We don't mind you having fun and making fun of the people that you know in there. That's kind of our thing. We make fun of you too. But you got to look out for the new folks. And if anybody in there is asking you to stop something, go ahead and listen and go ahead and stop. I think that'd be a good rule of thumb. That everyone can kind of then be happy.
Of course, I have to play with my new rights tonight a little bit.
Yeah, one cool...
don't make someone's going down.
Like, there's a couple other cool features we found out that the super administrator can do. That Daniel, like, for example, if she decides that you have to get banned, she's probably going to make you look like an idiot first, because she has that power. So we figure, if you're acting like such an idiot that you got to get banned, we might as well take it upon ourselves to make it known. So we can actually, like, brand you as different things with the super administrator powers. So she might have a little fun with the new features of the chat room. For those of you new listeners, the chat room really is a nice place, and it's a friendly place to go and hang out, and you can talk beer. And of course, it's the place you can go to ask questions of our guests. It's the primary source. You can call in too, 888-401-BEER, but the chat is where most of it comes from. And we are going to do our best to keep anything else from getting in the way of that kind of communication, because that was the point of the chat room to begin with. So there you go. I will leave it at that. Take care of yourselves in there, or Daniela will do it for you. Okay?
Exactly. I'm happy to do so.
Let's see, last announcement I had to make was a quick one. Oh, that's right. I wanted to announce this now, and I'll announce it again at the end of the show. We're changing up our competition for next week. At least we're just doing a new way for you folks to be able to register during the live show. You're going to like this, Doc. It's not next week, because we're off next week. The next time we come back, the week after that, the way that we're going to get our 2 registrants for the live show is we're going to have a talent show. We're going to have a Brewing Network talent show. And you can do anything you want. If you're good at singing or playing the banjo, for example, even if you just have you're good at telling a certain joke. Maybe you have a joke that everybody always, whatever it is that you do, I don't care what it is, as long as it translates to audio and you can call in and do it with us over the air, and then we're going to vote who the top ones are, and that will be how you register. So we're giving you 2 weeks notice to get whatever skill it is that you have. I kind of want to hear these guys who used to play clarinet and they haven't picked it up in like years, and they're like, "That's all the talent I have."
The recorder.
Yeah, the
That's
recorder.
a good talent, though.
Exactly. So whatever
I'll
you
bring
got,
9 in.
and Doc will bring his recorder and his clarinet in, and it's a way for us to get away from the trivia. Because we definitely want there to be different methods of registering, and not everybody's good at trivia. Not everybody has a talent, but maybe some of you do.
If you don't have both, you can't get a conical.
Yeah, if you don't have either one, you're probably SOL.
You don't need a conical.
But I mean, a talent is wide. I mean, it can be so many things.
If you could burp the alphabet, that's a talent.
That's a great talent.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, it's really a wide open thing here. So, just get yourselves.
Impressions would be good.
Impressions are always fun.
Oh, yeah, they are.
You get the point. You have 2 weeks to get ready for it. I'll make an announcement also in our forum and everything like that, and I'll announce it again later in the show. So everyone's going to have to get ready, get your own little talent ready, and that's how you're going to register next week. We'll tell you how you're going to register this week in just a couple minutes.
Oh my God!
You've got mail.
Kick ass.
So feedback this week was interesting, to say the least. There are certain weeks where I really get some... I get the negative feedback that goes, hey, you're a douchebag, and says all that kind of stuff, and that's fun and good. And sometimes I get actually negative feedback that I don't know how to take, and it's it's either real straightforward, like you guys suck kind of thing, or they'll say something negative and I don't even know what it is they're saying exactly. This one isn't one of those, but it is kind of negative. I thought I'd read it just so we can talk about it. It says, Justin, I was an early podcast listener within the first month of your postings. However, I found it increasingly difficult to listen because of your crudity, i.e., like how you spend St. Patrick's Day in high school. That was a good story, by the way. And your vulgarity, and anything related to the Vinnie puppet. So I gave up and I just listened to Jameel, although you make it difficult even there. And by the way, I don't say anything on the Jameel show. I sit I don't even turn my microphone on during the Jameel show. But anyway, I make it difficult there too. I tried again this week to listen to the 11.5 show, is when this came through. Enticed in part by the potential of winning a conical. So he was thinking he could put up with our shit in order to win a conical.
Yeah.
However, I couldn't make it past the Vinnie Puppet spiel. It's funny that he tuned in right probably when we were reading another Vinnie Puppet email. Yeah. My loss, I guess, and that's from Jack, who's been homebrewing since 1980. Now, I did send Jack a response back because I actually love feedback like this. It lets us know who our listeners are and are not. And he's actually not being particularly abrasive and didn't, he didn't write to insult me or anything like that, and so I appreciate all forms of feedback. What I do say, though, is I'm done apologizing for the content of our show. It's actually what makes our show. And to make up for the part where we get to have fun and kind of dick around and even be crude every now and then, we created shows like the Jameel Show. And there was even a thought process behind creating a show like that. And that was so we really want to be able to accommodate everybody. It is the Brewing Network, not just the Sunday show.
It's a spectrum.
And other shows are here to do that too. That's why we run Graham Sanders' Australian show. We run that on Tuesday mornings here too. I don't carry his podcast, but we carry it on the network because I really want to embrace the entirety of brewing. And I think that to leave out the fun and even occasionally the vulgarity is actually to leave out a part of homebrewing as far as we're concerned. So we don't apologize for what we do. I do hope that you'll send us what you like and don't like, and we'll keep creating new programming like the Jameel Show and other things that we have in the works too, so we can accommodate everybody. So then I get that, and then, the next email I get is, hey, fantastic shows. I've only recently begun to listen to the Brewing Network, and I admit I've become totally addicted to the program. The only problem I have is to try to figure out what day and time you guys are on. I assume that your programs are always rebroadcast. And this comes from a person who tunes into our stream, because I always have content running on our live stream, but I replay old shows. So I think he can never figure out if we're live or not. So I thought I'd address that for folks too. There is a schedule on our homepage. You go to thebrewingnetwork.com and you click schedule, and it'll tell you when our live shows are. Everything other than is on that schedule it's a replay. So anytime you tune in, it's a replay unless it's on that schedule. And that's pretty much Sunday afternoons at 5 Pacific time, and Monday mornings at 10 a.m. And dare I promote it, Fridays at noon.
Oh, if you don't like the content.
Yeah, if you don't like this show, stay away from Fridays at noon. Because this show is really my moderate. I needed a place where I could go completely overboard, and that's what we do on Friday. And Jamil ropes us back in on Mondays, and Sunday's right in the middle of the road.
That's the way I think of it, too.
Yeah.
Right in the middle.
Yeah, it really is.
Oh, stop laughing at me.
Sorry.
The Godfather over there, the Doc Father.
Chadroom was asking me for subtitles for Doc.
Hey, I almost don't want to talk because it hurts and you can't hear me.
And one day I'm gonna ask upon you for a favor, and you're gonna do that favor. So there you go. Check out our schedule if you want to know. So that one comes in. The next one I get, I'm telling you, you never know. Week to week it changes. The next one I get is a simple sentence. You've got Jamil. Why are you wasting your time with Howard Stern wannabe crap?
Is that right?
That's all he wrote.
Was it signed Jamil?
It's from Jamil, yeah. Signed Jay-Z. I don't know. I don't know what he's getting at. I think I responded to him like, okay, I'm glad you like the Jamil show. Thanks for writing it.
There's only so much technical stuff you can really do without having some fun in between.
That's right. And that's the way I see it. And I'll tell you what, if we had to do a technical show like that every Sunday, it would have stopped a long time ago. I would never have hung in there. And I really think there's something for everybody in all of our shows.
Exactly.
So, a Howard Stern wannabe? I don't know. I'm not attempting to do anything.
Got a long way to go on that.
Yeah, I think that's a long shot.
Now Howard started somehow.
That's right. And then the other thing is that I've got Jamil. Well, sure, Jamil actually is kind enough to spend his time with us to do a show. But the man has a full-time job and a family, 2 kids, brews himself, competes. He's a judge. He's on the board for the AHA. What do you want me to do? Have him move into the studio and just broadcast 5 days a week? It's not going to happen.
A reality Brewers series.
Oh, yeah.
Jamil.
Yeah.
That would be an exciting one.
Great
Brew
idea.
house. Call it brew house.
It would be exciting if he would let me throw in strippers or something every now and
Get
then.
his wife mad.
Yeah, then it would be good. All right, so hey, like I said, I'm glad you like the Jamil show. There's a little something for everybody. If you're just tuning to this show for the first time, right now, for example, we spend a good time, a good half an hour to 45 minutes in the beginning of the show just having fun and getting people up to date. And then we'll spend an hour doing an interview. And within that interview, we'll burp and occasionally fart and make fun of each other. And that's just the way it goes. And it's good fun, and I'm glad you tuned in to have it. The last email I got was, hey, thanks for all you're doing. But if you guys and gals get the time, could you post the rules for the Conical Christmas on the website? No, I can't post them on the website, but I can post them on the forum within our website. And maybe Daniela can do that for us because she has the rules written.
Is it more because you're making them up along the way? Or?
Yeah, that's part of that. No, it's funny because we did look at this as a really serious competition because we knew it was going to be highly competitive. They're valuable prizes. So Daniela and I sat down one day and we're like, we have to write out the rules so that we could at least reference back to them. And we did read them on our first run of shows for this competition, but we'll post them in the forum as well. Try to get that done for you tonight or tomorrow. And that's going to do it for the feedback. So
Rough.
Yeah.
Rough.
Some weeks, I'm telling you, it's really a roller coaster sometimes. Because, we don't let everything affect us. Chris, you got to know what I'm talking about.
The bigger you get, the more you're going to get on both sides of that equation. And it's something that I still wear my heart on my sleeve, and I know you will for a long time.
Yeah.
But there are times, I'm sure Doc, with lots of experience, I mean, he's a dentist, of course people complain.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, there's got to be a time in which you just say, you go into it even knowing, some people, no matter what you do, you're not going to make happy.
Right. And that's okay. But do you know what I mean? Where sometimes it's fine and you take the like this week I actually took it. I was happy to get it,
right.
And I wrote back to everybody that I was happy and thank you for the information. But there are other times when it's kind of an emotional roller coaster too. Because
why are you kicking me?
Yeah. Well, then you feel good about what you're doing, and then the next day you get another one, and you're like, "Man, we suck."
Yeah. But I think Chris is right on. I work for a multi-million-dollar corporation, and the times when we get crappy feedback, and we really produce an awesome thing, you would think everybody would love us for that. No.
Yeah.
People find something that they don't like. You gotta take it to improve it if constructive.
Yeah.
And if not, then, well, so what?
That's
It's always that, you look at any product and nothing is 100% perfect.
Yes.
I mean, and especially the more you know about it, the more you realize, even though you make it, it could be better.
Exactly.
But at what point is, you get the product out there, get it in front of people, and,
Sure.
and they got to live with it. You don't hone in on it, but
yeah, and you take all the feedback you can and do what you can with it.
I also think there are people better at giving feedback than other people.
Yeah,
and I'm sure when you get those guys, you even feel good about bad news.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, you really do, and you end up going, you know what? That's a great idea, and we obviously don't think of all of the ideas, and sometimes it's you guys that do it. So, yeah, you're right. Sometimes it's great to get. Okay, with all of that, it's time for Daniela's World, Vigorously.
Thank you. So I'm going to do my Vigorous World about the European Union tonight. So you're going to think, wow, what's going on? But you all know the European Union, not a God-given thing. Europe has been working for 50 years now to get this union work, with currently 25 member countries. And in January 1st, 2007, it's going to be 27 member countries.
Wow.
Romania and Bulgaria are joining.
The U.S. was a God-given country, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
Population of the European Union, approximately 460 million people. So, it's the European Union struggles hard to bring all those different countries and cultures under one head. The latest discussion, and it's been really a pain point, is surrounding beer and alcohol in general. Some of the pain points, for example, are beer and alcohol advertising in the European Union. France and Sweden have a very restrictive legislation and would not allow alcohol advertising in print media unless there is big disclaimers of what alcohol and beer can do to you in general. Things like beer kills. That's what they would have to write down.
But that's just wrong.
It is just wrong, yeah, but I mean, with cigarettes it goes that extreme.
But that's true.
Well, not necessarily, though.
No, it's pretty true.
Well, if you're a chain smoker, it could kill you, yes, but it's not true for everybody 100%, right? But still, the cigarette...
You're gonna die if you smoke.
Name me one thing that doesn't kill you.
Oh,
yes, exactly.
Point. Okay.
Good point.
Right.
Very good point.
This show will kill you if you listen long enough.
I feel like I have throat cancer right now.
Yeah, you sound like a chain smoker.
Everything's going to kill you, so you might as well have fun while you're dying.
Thank you.
Exactly.
I feel like that aunt of mine when I was about 6. Hey, honey, how you doing? She's smoking a cigarette. Yeah. Good to see you again, honey.
That's like the best you've sounded. You should just do that voice the whole night.
Do that voice all the time.
Speaking of your voice again, Doug, Boop wanted you to say, I'm your father.
I'm your father.
Oh, my God.
I'm your father, Luke.
So anyways, France and Sweden are very strict in that matter. For example, Great Britain, Ireland, and Germany, for example, they don't have any legislation whatsoever. They just trust in the moral consents between advertising industries and beer producers.
Hey, they should take our chat room as an example and realize that only goes so far.
So if you see the extreme between France and Great Britain, for example, how are you going to find a legislation that satisfies both countries? So that's a big pain point currently. The other one is the protection of minors. In Sweden, for example, legal drinking age is 18, but you're only allowed to buy beer and spirits at a store if you're at least 20 years old. Whereas in Italy, the legal age for drinking beers and spirits is 16. In Greece, Luxembourg, and Malta, there is no age restriction for purchasing alcohol whatsoever.
Fantastic.
But where do you go? What directions do you want to head to? I mean, is it 20 years that's reasonable, or is it none?
None.
Yeah, I can send my 8-year-old grandson out to the liquor store to buy me beer. That'd be a good thing.
They used to do that all
Chris,
the time.
I'm telling you, when I was 10 and we had a little grocery store in the village I grew up, my grandpa would send me and have him pick up a couple of bottles of beer.
Sure.
Thing of beauty.
So little Daniela, 10 years old, almost too short to reach up to the counter, bought beers.
Yeah, I went out and bought my dad a bottle of scotch when I was 17. He needed scotch.
Is that at the ice store?
It wasn't at the ice store, but it was at the same store I would buy all my beer, for the weekend, and my dad's scotch on Tuesday.
Another one of the pain points is the legal limit in traffic. A huge gap between Great Britain, Ireland, Cyprus, Luxembourg, where the legal limit is 0.08. In Estland, Croatia, Lithuania, Malta, and other countries, it's 0.0. Huge controversy right there.
See, I don't think you could, we're big proponents here of not drinking and driving and things like that. Our 07, the California limit of 07 is a pretty liberal limit, actually. There's a lot of, places where it's lower. But to have a zero tolerance?
Yeah.
Now that's, because brushing your teeth, you'll blow over a zero. I mean, you really will.
Oh, Listerine.
Yeah.
Or breath mints too.
Right. So things like that. So the zero thing is kind of it's kind of risky, I think, even to make that the law, because you could end up getting people in trouble for nothing.
Right.
Well, it's also interesting. Certain countries, like I know in Switzerland, if you get pulled over under the influence, you lose your license for life. It's not like an optional thing. It's not a 1-year thing. It's
just
life.
done.
And what's the limit? It's very low too. I think it's 0.05 if I remember right.
I thought it was a little higher than that, but I thought it was about the American standards. But I mean, that's pretty amazing. Like, people here fear it because it's about $15,000 worth of miscellaneous fines.
But you can get like 7 of them before you, which is ridiculous too.
Our neighbor down in off Detroit, which is a beautiful road if you haven't been down there. He ran a used battery shop, so to tell you the kind of caliber guy he was.
Yeah.
He, I think, went to jail finally on his 6th or 7th DUI.
Now, see, that's ridiculous. I actually think you should go to jail for life on your 6th or 7th DUI, because that's ridiculous.
I wonder how you survived that.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, what else you got?
Yeah, the biggest pain point currently, of course, is the taxes on beer and alcohol. That's been a huge discussion in Europe for the past couple of months. For example, differences are really outstanding. In Germany, there is no wine tax at all, for example. Beer tax is only 10 cents per liter, whereas in Finland, the beer tax, and please sit down if you hear this, the beer tax per liter of beer is €1.43.
Per liter?
Per liter,
wow.
Which is outrageous if you ask me.
Isn't that like $35?
143 is like $1.80.
Wait, what country is that?
Close.
That's in Finland.
Yeah, name me a commercial beer that comes out of Finland.
Yeah,
because they don't drink it there.
Yeah, they can. I mean, how do you afford it? In Ireland, the wine tax, for example, per bottle is €1.91. Just that goes away for taxes.
Yeah, but that's for a bottle.
It's a high amount if you consider that in Germany there's none, and out of the sudden our people should be paying $2 per bottle for taxes. So where do you find the consensus in that matter again? The European Union now totally wants to implement a minimum tax rate on all kinds of alcohol, beer and wine, because it's just a very nice way to, generate some good money for the administrations. The Czech Republic, as a leader, and of course Germany, have been putting on a good fight against it and would not allow this law to pass. To me, it's very important that the European Union goes ahead and tries to find a consensus, of course, because that's what the Union is for. We still have a federalistic system, just like the U.S. does.
Yeah.
But I think the European Union really tries to grow together and really tries to have those basic laws. I just hope they don't go the most conservative way and don't go with the most punishing thing for people. Like, if they would always go for the extremes, drinking age up to 20, tax $2 per bottle, and so on, that would be very unfortunate for the countries who have been good for a very long time without those very strict laws.
Now, will the Luftwaffe be involved in this?
If you ask another question, it's going to be involved tonight for you.
Fair enough. I kind of like the idea of the countries, even though they're in the Union, retaining some autonomy. And I think that liquor laws could be one of those things, because I think that different societies grow up with it differently and use it differently. And a 16-year-old drinking age in one country, which might be fine, could actually be devastating to the youth of another country. So I really don't like the idea of a blanket kind of authority.
Right. I mean, the European Union just tries not to make too many exceptions. Because then you could apply this for almost everything. Nice. Because it is it's 25 countries that basically have nothing in common with each other other than being European countries. And you're trying to bring them under one blanket. If you make exceptions, you're going to have them all over the place.
Yeah.
I agree. I like it too. I like in America that you have you can have different laws in California than in Pennsylvania, depending on what the government thinks is best for the people in California and Pennsylvania. I think European Union should be the same way. It's just not what they want to be.
Yeah. They're not going to let Switzerland decide on all that, right? Because then a decision will never get made.
That's true. We're neutral.
That's right. All right. Well, thank you. And that is Daniela's World, Vigarosli. Another fantastic job. You've done some good work on your Vigaroslis lately, Daniela, and we appreciate it. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, it's Beer Jeopardy to register to win a conical. And Doc's going to buzz in with his crazy voice. That's his buzzer. We'll be right back. Hang in there.
You're listening to the Brewcasters on the Brewing Network.
this Christmas. It began life in the very bowels of the earth. A ferrous chromium alloy melted in an electric furnace at temperatures exceeding 1,300 degrees Celsius. It has nearly 80 millimeters of sanitary welds, tensile strength 579 megapascals, a milliliter capacity of more than 46,000. Its lid seals with a superhuman ethylene propylene diamonomer gasket. Its racking arm rotating. Its dump valve full port. Yeast and tube collect down a slope of precisely 60 degrees. Standing more than 30 American inches tall. It's the Brewing Network's conical Christmas giveaway, sponsored by Beer, and More Beer at morebeer.com and HCA Industries at HCAIND.com. Listen now through December 10th for your chance to register to win one of 2 B3 conical fermenters on the Brewing Network.
folks, now the fun begins. One of my favorite parts of the Brewing Network, one of the most fun things we get to do is Beer Jeopardy. So we thought we'd do Beer Jeopardy to register one of our listeners today to win a conical in the Brewing Network's Conical Christmas, brought to you by Beer, and More Beer and HCA Industries. Of course, at morebeer.com and HCAIND.com. Both have generously donated a conical, which gives us 2 conicals to give away. We'll be giving it away on December 17th, and we're registering folks between now and December 10th. Is the last day we'll be registering. So the first part of our competition today will happen through Beer Jeopardy. Ooh. And here is how you're going to get to be a contestant on Beer Jeopardy. I always have to figure out how to say them in such an order that we don't get bombarded. We'll do the chat first, okay? Have you already described the rules to the chat? Okay. So, if you're in the chat room, we are going to be registering 2 people from the chat. When Daniela types the word start into the chat, the first person to say either Doc or Chris, because Chris Graham from Beer, More Beer is here with us, he's going to be playing for you, and Doc will play for you. So, Daniela, whenever you're ready to type in that word, it's on your cue. I don't want to say it over the air. So, from here, whenever you're ready, you can type in the word start. As soon as you see it, type in Chris or Doc. The other way we're going to do it, and feel free to start as soon as you hear me say it. Caller number 9 will be a contestant. So caller number 9, 888-401-BEER. Call in now. The 9th caller will be a contestant on Beer Jeopardy. And finally, the first person to Skype me at Brewing Network is our Skype name. Brewing Network. The first successful connection I received through Skype will also be playing Beer Jeopardy with us. So those are the ways that all of you are going to get to compete. 888-401-BEER is the number. Caller number 9. Danielle is working with the chat room now to get our 2 contestants from there, and you can Skype me. So we'll have 4 chances to register during just this part of the game. While we're waiting for you folks to do that, we're starting to taste our Christmas beers and
holiday beers.
Our holiday beers and sort of holiday beer, winter warmer. The whole genre is actually going to be our beer topic for today.
Do you know how many years I've been corrected on that damn thing?
What, holiday?
Holiday. Because I always say Christmas beers.
Oh, me too. They're not Christmas cards anymore.
Yeah, they're holiday cards. Yeah. And
that say Merry Christmas.
That say Merry Christmas, exactly.
No, one year I put out, what was it, what was the one card I put out? It was Happy...
Wow, not only is his voice gone,
his brain went with it.
Been deleted.
Blank.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Phil, are you there? Phil Brazil, are you there, buddy? All right, I'm not getting you. I'm going to take the first successful connection. And
Happy Kwanzaa, that's what it was.
Bill, are you there?
I'm here.
There he is. How are you, Bill?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great. Okay, you can now stop Skyping me, everybody, because we have our Skype contestant.
Got Phil.
Bill, where are you calling from?
Las Vegas, Nevada.
All right. Little Sin City contestant going on here. You got to turn your volume down behind you if you could, too, please.
Got it.
All right, so hang on the line. We're still looking for our phone call contestant, and caller number 9 is going to be registered to do it. So which beer is this one? Happy Claus Holiday Ale. That's a nice name.
Smells a bit like feet.
Yeah.
It smells a lot like feet.
Yeah, and it tastes a lot of ginger.
Guess who has the foot fetish here? You two.
Yeah, we're both silent. All right, and I think we now have our caller that's going to play too, so we can get into the game, and then we'll get into these holiday beers when we come back. It's hard to register, to qualify people in 10 different ways all at the same time. Caller, are you with us?
Yeah.
Who are we talking to?
It's Patrick.
Patrick, where are you calling from?
Springfield, Illinois.
All right. Wow, we're running the gamut here. I like it. Let me make sure I got everybody here. So we got Patrick from Illinois. We got Bill from Vegas. And do we have our chat room contestants now, Daniela?
We do have those too.
Who do we have?
It's Impala.
Okay.
Chris is gonna be playing for Impala.
Right. Sorry, Impala.
And Doc, a.k.a. Darth Vader, is gonna be playing for Kilroy.
All right, cool.
And what's our Skype's contestant's name?
Bill.
Skype is that's Bill.
Bill. So we got Impala, Kilroy, Bill, and Patrick.
Yes.
All right.
All right. Okay. You guys, have you heard us do Beer Jeopardy before? Callers on the line with us.
Yeah.
All right. So you know the rules. Yeah. All right. The chat room, folks, you better hope that Doc's going to play better than he sounds. Chris wanted us to say that he's feeling real dumb today. So you might be at a slight disadvantage with either one of those two.
I'm not afraid.
The Sharks won 6-1 last night. I mean, come on.
You were having a good time.
Oh, yeah.
All right. You're not feeling extra dumb.
I'm super dumb today.
Good.
So, Doc, you just have to make some weird noise with yourself. That's your...
Sometimes I can't even make a noise.
Let's see. Chris Graham, what shall your buzzer be for the day? Yours is Conical. Since you
Conical?
were yeah, that's your buzzer for the day. You were nice enough to donate one, so Conical for you. Let's see. Bill, you got to yell, Jackpot is your buzzer.
Got it.
All right. And Patrick, I don't know, what the hell happens in Illinois?
Land of Lincoln.
Lincoln. There you go.
There you go.
You can yell Lincoln.
Justin, just one quick question. It's only going to be one person we're going to register through this Beer Jeopardy now, right?
Yes. Only the winner will register.
Okay. Yeah. So we still have one more registration to go then tonight.
Yes.
That is going to be announced after the Beer Jeopardy.
Correct.
All right.
After the break, we'll come back and announce.
Got it all straightened out here.
All right. I got a beer in one hand. I got the categories in front of me. Here we go. There are 4 categories today, folks. They are the point system is 100 through 400 points, as usual. You can pick them in any order. The categories are old beer. That's one. Pour me a beer. That's the second category. The third category is in the company of beer. You guys see a theme going here? And the fourth category is going to be beer animals. Beer animals. All right, so I hope you folks that are playing on the phones here wrote those down. And let's see. I'm going to go ahead and give the pick of the litter to Bill from Las Vegas. He was our first one to get on board here. So you have control of the board, Bill.
How about pour me a beer?
Okay. For how many points? 1, 2, 3, or 400?
4.
Going right for the big gun. Pour me a beer. The question is, Iron City Beer was the brand chosen to test market which beverage innovation? I hear some Google typing going on over there.
Yeah.
Cheater. Which beverage innovation?
A can.
Be more specific.
Aluminum can.
There's a wooden cans? I'm not going to accept that just yet. Go ahead. Was it Patrick?
Lincoln. Yeah.
Go ahead, Patrick.
How about the pop top? Or the
round
circle thing.
That's correct. The tab opening aluminum cans. Iron City Beer was chosen way back in the day to test the first ones. That is 400 points for Bill from Illinois, and you have control of. Patrick from Illinois, and Patrick, you have control of the board.
How about 300? Same category.
Pour me a beer for 300 points. Do bubbles in a glass of Guinness go up or down?
Doc.
Go ahead.
Down.
No.
Bubbles don't go up. They can go the cascade.
Lincoln.
Up.
No.
Both.
Yes. Who said both?
You gave 2 options.
Yeah.
It's a trick question. What do you want?
or it usually means one or the other.
Yeah. Who was that did the both?
I did.
Who's I?
I guessed twice, though.
No points for anybody. But Patrick, you retain control of the board.
All right, 200, same category.
Watch out for the sneaky ones, everybody. What is the official name of a pump-like tap for drawing beer from a cask?
Doc.
Go ahead, Doc.
Beer engine.
Correct. It is a beer engine.
How many points for Dr. Scott?
200 points for Dr. Scott.
200.
And he has control of the board.
Let's try something new. Let's go in the company of beer, 300.
300 points in the company of beer.
Stop it.
What beer is, quote, pure Texan beer?
Jackpot.
Go ahead.
Lone Star.
That's correct. Lone Star.
So that's Bill. How many points for Bill?
That is 300 points. Putting him on, and give you control of the board, Bill. Go ahead, please.
How about beer animals for 100?
Beer animals for 100 points. I think it's 1989. What do you write here, Daniela?
84.
Thank you. In 1984, Anheuser-Busch introduced... Go ahead.
Pitbull.
No, sir. Introduced this slithering malt liquor. Anheuser-Busch introduced this slithering malt liquor.
Conical.
Go ahead, Chris.
Cobra.
Doc.
Keep going. Go ahead, Doc.
King Cobra.
King Cobra. Yes.
So that is 100 points for Dr. Scott.
100 points for Dr. Scott, and you have control of the board, Doc.
Let's go beer animals, 300.
300 points, beer animals. Oh, dear.
You want me to read it?
Yeah, maybe you ought to read this. I can't read
Vigorously.
Yes,
all right.
It has something to do with vigorously.
Sasha, the cartoon beer bear, liked to dance around in a pastoral setting while the Land of Sky Blue Waters jingle was sung in the background. Which brewery were the commercials for?
Doc.
Lincoln, you were first.
Coors.
No.
I know.
Doc, you go ahead.
Bush.
No.
Can I go again?
Wait for the other two, see if they buzz in. Anybody want to take a guess?
Nothing.
Ham.
Nope.
Okay. No points.
Doc.
No points. I mean, who said the last word?
Sorry? Huh? Who said the last word?
I got it.
What are you talking about?
Didn't somebody just say something?
Hams?
I don't think so.
Olympia.
No, you're all too late now. I already said no points.
I didn't say hams either. Someone else did. I'm just repeating. I'm stuck on stupid.
I thought I heard hams. Somebody said
it.
All right, you want to give him points?
No, he said it after he guessed 3 other ones.
Okay.
Yeah, it was my second guess.
No points.
No points.
But Patrick, I'll give you control of the board just for the hell of it.
What is it? Old beer? What's that? Like 200? Is that available?
Sure. Yeah, nobody's picked Old Beer yet. So Old Beer for 200 points. This one is multiple choice, so you may want to wait. In what decade did Chimay become the first Trappist monastery to release its beer for public sale? Was it A, in the 1840s, B, in the 1850s, C, in the 1860s, or D, in the 1870s?
I'll go last. I'm bound to win this.
Chris, you have to say your buzzword.
I know. I said I'm going last.
Oh, you're not going to go. I see. Okay. Lincoln, go ahead.
I'll say 1870s.
No.
Doc,
go ahead.
1850s.
No.
Conical.
Go ahead.
1840s.
No.
I knew I was going to lose this.
Jackpot, you want to buzz in?
The last is B, Jackpot.
Go ahead, Jackpot. You got to say it, man.
Oh, you lost the line.
You got to be paying attention.
Oh, Jackpot got dropped.
Did he get dropped out?
Yeah, he's not on my Skype anymore.
He's yelling it right now. 1830s! 1830s!
Where is he? He's gone altogether. Hang on, I'm looking.
His wife got him.
Yeah.
I said no more Brewing Network.
Wait, hang on, I gotta find him here. Poor guy. He's going nuts right now. Gotta call me back, Bill, because I don't see you on my list here, so I can't call you back. Wow, that's a bummer. I'll tell you what,
I'll give him the points for that.
Yeah, let's give him the points.
All right, you were going to give him the points, but Bill, you got to find a way to call us back on Skype here. Otherwise,
he can't. He turned down his radio.
Otherwise, we're in
if
big
he never
trouble.
comes back, can I have his points?
Yeah.
I need help.
Well, that's 200 points for Bill, because there's no way he could have gotten it wrong unless he wasn't listening, and we'll go ahead and give it to him.
All right.
And we'll give Chris Graham control of the board.
All right, what were we just on? Oh, let's do beer animals for what's left in that.
200 or 400?
200.
Okay. Should I read it without Bill?
I don't know.
Give him a
sort of.
second
I want to give him 30 seconds or so. Maybe we can have Doc sing a song while we're waiting.
That's a good idea. Doc, you got any old favorites?
Show us your talent, Doc.
Yeah, really.
How about some titties and beer here, Doc?
Titties and beer.
That's so creepy.
Titties and beer. That hurts.
Is Bill back?
He's not back, and I'll tell you, I'm tempted. Wait, here he comes. Bill?
Yeah.
What happened, buddy?
I have no idea.
Oh.
You're there once and then you're...
Okay. Well, we gave you 200 points.
Thanks.
So, and we're about to ask another question.
Okay.
So just be ready. Here we go. This California-based brewery made a hawk their mascot.
Doc.
Go ahead, Doc.
Red Tail. No.
Conical.
Go ahead.
Mendocino Brewing Company.
Correct. You are on the right track, Doc.
Is that 200 points for Chris?
200 points.
Make it 600.
And not even that would help.
And Chris keeps control of the board.
Let's finish up on the beer animals.
For 400 points, Robert Kane Brewery incorporated this mystical creature in the name of their seasonal brown ale.
Lincoln.
Lincoln, go ahead.
I have no idea, but I'm going to say
Jackpot.
Unicorn.
No. Jackpot, go ahead.
That's what I was going to say.
Conical.
Conical, go ahead.
Dragon.
That's correct. It was for Kane's Dragon Head, and it was a dragon.
I've never even heard of this brewery.
I think it's Dragon Hard, actually.
Oh, Dragon
good enough.
Nice.
Yeah.
Again.
How many points for Conical here?
400 points.
Ooh, cleaning up the beer animals.
Can we get a list of our scores? Have you tallied them?
We can. Just give me a second.
All right, I'll move on, and you can tell us who got that. Chris got that. Chris, you still have control of the board. Go ahead.
Give me some of the other categories.
Old beer, pour me a beer, or in the company of beer?
In the company of beer.
100, 200, or 400?
400.
Oh, he's looking to really get a big lead here. What are the points? You got them? I'll keep going. Okay, multiple choice. How much of its own beer does a bar or restaurant need to brew and serve on site? Go ahead.
100 gallons per month.
To be qualified as a brew pub, I'm going to give you a second chance, Doc, because I probably should have been more specific. What percent of its own beer needs to be done on site to be qualified as a brew pub?
10%.
Okay, and
did he get it?
No, that's not right, and it is multiple choice.
Okay,
so it's A, 15%, B, 25%, C, 50%, or D, 75%. Jackpot, go ahead.
25%.
That is correct. 25% has to be brewed on premise to be considered a brew pub. That's 400 points for Bill.
400 for Bill.
Yes.
Wow.
And Bill, you now have control of the board.
How about old beer for 100?
All right. Let's see what we got here. What European brewery produces Jahrhundert? Jahrhundert. That's pretty close to right, Daniela?
Jahrhundert.
Yeah, that helped.
What European brewery produces Jahrhundert?
Conical.
Go ahead.
Carlsberg.
No.
I'm going to have to pull up Google now.
No points lost, and I'm going to shut it down before it's Google-worthy because the two contestants here can't Google. Go ahead, Doc.
Spaten.
No. The answer is Eyinger. Eyinger produces Jahrhundert. No points. And
that's a pretty corky name for a beer, actually.
Bill, you still have control of the board.
How about old beer for 2?
How about 3?
Oh, 3, okay.
You, sir, have reached the Daily Doppel.
Oh!
Ding, 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 ding. Anybody can chime in, but it's for 600 points, and it's a bit off topic. What is unique about Clay Henry Jr.? What is unique about Clay Henry Jr.?
Doc.
Go ahead, Doc.
I know nothing about him. That's unique.
It's not the answer we're looking for. I thought someone would really know this.
It's never been in my kitchen.
Lincoln.
Go ahead, Lincoln.
He's a drinking goat.
That's right. He's a beer-drinking goat. Clay Henry
That
Jr.
had to have been Google.
Yeah, I think
there's no way.
No, what that is.
Well, I'll only give you 300 points because I know you Googled.
So 300 to Bill?
Yes. No, that was Lincoln. So to
that
Patrick.
was Patrick.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Patrick,
Googled, by the way.
I take control of the board away from you for cheating also. And I give it to Dr. Scott.
Old beer for 400.
All right. Old beer for 400 points. I gotta put like a 10-second rule on these things. What beer was the precursor to Budweiser as the Anheuser-Busch flagship brand from the 1860s to the early 1900s?
Doc.
What was the name of the beer? Go ahead.
Bush.
No. It was their flagship beer and the precursor to Budweiser from Anheuser-Busch.
Conical.
Go ahead.
Keystone?
No. How cool would that be, though?
Yeah.
Either of you two want to chime in?
We're Googling.
Yeah, I hear click,
I'm
click,
not
click.
Googling. Okay, I'll give it a guess.
Go ahead.
I have no idea.
The answer is St. Louis Lager.
Oh, jeez.
It was originally known as St. Louis Lager before they made it Budweiser
Man, it's
in the
hard
early 1900s.
Jeopardy.
For the mountains of St. Louis
The stakes are high.
Yes, they are.
All right, Doc, you still have control of the board. There's 2 categories left.
In the company of beer, 200.
You got it. What beer incorporated their often won award as part of their label?
Lincoln.
Go ahead.
Heineken.
No. Their often won award as part of their label.
They have like,
I got Doc.
Doc, go ahead.
Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Correct. Pabst Blue Ribbon. After winning the Blue Ribbon a couple of times, they decided just to name the beer that. As the lore goes, it was partly just to spite Budweiser, because they were real pissed that they lost the best beer in the world to Pabst. So they were like, yeah, well, we're going to name our beer that then.
Would Drake's IPA work, too?
No.
How many
They have their gold medal on.
That was 200 points.
For Dr. Scott.
For Dr. Scott, who's doing very well today.
No, I'm not.
No, he's not.
No, I'm not.
Go ahead, Doc. You still have control of the board. There's 2 left.
Pour me a beer.
Pour me a beer for 100 points. The average wide-mouth pint glass used to serve beer in the U.S. is actually called a... That wide-mouth pint glass that most beer is served at a U.S. bar is actually a...
Jack glass.
Go ahead, Bill.
Pilsner glass?
No. It's actually almost the opposite. It's the wide-mouth glass.
Lincoln.
Go
Schooner.
ahead. Sorry?
Schooner? Is it Schooner?
No.
Doc.
Go ahead.
Stout glass.
No.
Conical?
I almost want to accept Schooner, but it's a... Go ahead, Chris.
I have no idea. Mug.
It's a mixer. It's a mixing glass. It was just it's always used. In fact, we have a bartender in the room here too. Dr. Scott's brother has joined us in the studio, and I'm right. It's actually a mixer. Yet he's shaking his head. Yes, I'm not just making this up. But for some reason, most of the U.S. has adopted it as a beer drinking vessel. Good effort, everybody. Dr. Scott, the last question here. You don't even have to choose. It's still under in the company of beer. What drinking game did Anheuser-Busch stop marketing after discovering...
Jackpot.
Did someone already chime in? Jackpot?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Beer pong?
Correct. They stopped marketing after realizing that some people were imbibing with beer instead of water, as the official rules
That's what I play with.
stated. So that's 100 points to Bill. Daniela, what's our tally?
Just give me a second so I can calculate the numbers here.
I hope we have a tie, because I have a good bonus question,
We
too.
don't.
Oh, damn it.
In last place, it's
The tie for last place.
Dr. Scott for Kilroy.
Kilroy.
500 points.
Sorry, brother.
Second place, it's Chris Conical with 600 points for Impala.
Sorry, Impala.
Oh, wow. I told you the in-studio guys were going to be a disadvantage.
Third place, or no, I should say the second place, actually.
Yes.
I'll keep
second best person in the game was Patrick with 700 points.
Oh, very close, Patrick, which makes...
I should have 1,000.
And the person who registered for the Conical giveaway is Bill with 1,000 points. So even if you wouldn't have given him the 200 points, he still would have won the game.
Oh, I see. So even with that, Lincoln, sorry, buddy.
Congratulations, Bill. You're qualified.
Yeah.
That's great. I appreciate it.
All right, hang on the line. Lincoln, thanks very much, brother. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right, take care. And hey, Bill, here's what you got to do. You got to email Daniela at thebrewingnetwork.com with your information, and we'll get you registered.
Fantastic.
Bill, that's one L only, Daniela.
Yes.
Daniela.
How many people are going to be registered by the time this thing's done?
I think we counted...
I think 12, right?
Not counting me.
The 12 days of Christmas?
Thanks, Bill. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
No, it ended up being 15.
15, yeah.
Because there's 10 live listeners will register, 5 podcast users will register, and 5 people just naming the show will register.
And that 20?
And that...
there might be 20.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
It's
Nice
some
counting
number.
skills there.
Whatever the rules say that I haven't read, that's what it is.
I thought I was slow today.
It's actually written down right in front of me, too, but thought I'd try to just read it off the top of my head.
So, we got one person. What else are we going to play tonight?
I'll tell you after the break. When we come back, find out the next way to register during today's live show, and also we'll talk about how you're going to register as a podcast listener, and we're going to start talking about our winter warmers. Hang in there. We'll be right back. You're tuned to the Brewing Network. Hang in there.
You're listening to the Brewcasters. The Brewcasters on the Brewing Network.
The Brewing Network's promo spot, Conical Christmas, take one.
In a world where beer was king.
No in a world, Push.
What do you mean, no in a world?
This is a commercial for the Brewing Network's Conical Christmas giveaway.
Oh, okay. In a land that...
No in a land either.
In a time.
In a time?
In a land before time.
Look, this is a commercial to inform the listeners of the upcoming Conical Christmas giveaway.
One man.
No.
When your life is no longer your own.
What does that mean?
When everything you know is wrong.
That's wrong.
In an outpost.
It's a giveaway.
On the edge of space.
They're giving away 2 Conicals.
A girl.
No.
2 girls.
Just tell them to listen to the Brewing Network every week between now and December 10th to register to win one of 2 Conicals donated by Beer, and More Beer and HCA Industries.
Now.
What is wrong with you?
More than ever.
Stop it!
A renegade cop.
I hate you.
A robot renegade cop.
You're fired.
You're fired.
No, you're actually fired.
I'm fired.
Get out of the booth, Bush.
No, I like it in here.
The Brewing Network Comical Christmas Giveaway. Keep listening for your chance to win.
I'm on. Thank God, not a moment too soon. There's no one in the room, right?
No.
Alright. That's a really hard line.
You wrote it.
Was with the Abacast dream. God damn it. Oh, these are really hard. I'm just gonna have to do this a bunch of times. Who wrote this shit? You know what? Go ahead and start me over. And just trash that whole take. Hit that fucking whirlpool, vigorously. Holy shit, I need some air. Damn, my yeast will not proof in my Oh my god, I'm so white.
Okay.
Proof and fucking boobs being rude and my kid pulled out. Gotta say that a whole lot faster. This whole chat room I want now, Justin. Shit, that's a lot of words. 50G, why don't you push eject me? I'm screaming Gucci when D pushes me off the screen. Ow. I'm screaming Gucci when D pushes me off the screen. Blah, blah. That's the end of that. Then we're off into the pseudo chorus. I just got booted out of the chat room. I was so in the groove on the last one. That was crap. Holy shit, I just got booted out of the fucking chat room.
Did you have to laugh?
Sweet shit that likes life anaerobic. Damn, play still not proof and I'm out of air. Doc's little voice in my ear screaming. I realize that I'm missing 2 whole bars of lyrics. Damn, play still not proof and fucking boobs being rude, my kid. That one's impossible. Think I can't think, but then I hear Doc's little voice in my ear. This is where it just falls apart. I don't know how this worked in my head. Motherfucker, drink.
Drink! Oh man, that always kind of irked me. You're this guy like, drink!
That part's easy. It's how do I fit all that other crap in there? Alright, that's probably good enough for now. Oh, that's funny. Is that you? Oh, that's me.
Shit.
I'm throwing down an angry rap song. Oh, what time is it? Probably within the next 20 minutes. I love you, sweetie. Okay, running out of time.
Just got booted out of the chat room. That's the gay version. Okay, don't even think about putting that on there. This is just pathetic, isn't it? Look at the 2 jerk-offs. Too bad I don't have like a good rip and fart right now or something. Wait, I'm actually touching cloth. Doc's little voice in my head screaming, are you gonna have to burn him, man? Kill JP. It really sounds like I'm on the pot, doesn't it? I think it does. Oh, let's listen to Sven take a crap. I'm out.
What's your least favorite beer?
Corona.
Really? You don't like Corona? Does Corona advertise on this show? Oh, they do. I disagree with you. I think Corona's magnificent. Why don't you like Corona?
Because it just tastes like corny sort of water, you know?
That's great. They'll be happy that I followed up with why don't you like it?
Well, I guess I won't be on the show again. But...
No. You'll be on the show again. I don't think Corona will be back.
The Brewing Network. Saving your life. One beer at a time.
All right. That was exhausting. Not the break, but the Jeopardy, organizing contestants for that. That's probably our...
the life out of me.
And my nipples are going to be hard the rest of the night.
Wow. That is a sound clip you all want to keep right there. In that voice.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I know my nipples are going to be hard
all night long.
And people have issues with the content? What?
Okay, I told you I'd let you know how we're going to register our next user, but we won't be doing it till closer to the end of the show. But we will be. It'll be a call-in registration, so get yourselves ready for that. And we're just going to do a caller number. We're going to make it real simple. I got several emails about kind of the way contests they go, and we're trying to really change things up week to week. We did sit down and think about all the problems we face because we have three audiences to deal with. We have chat room users, we have regular live listeners, and we have archive podcast users. And each one of them requires a different form of competition in order to be fair and get everybody registered. So we're going to move away from trivia for a couple of things. So one of them will be just to call in later on during the show. We'll give you a caller number. I'll tell you when we're going to do that. And that way it's just kind of a random thing. And you podcasters this week, if you're just tuning in wondering how you're going to win for the podcast, we came up with a cool game where we're going to come up with a top 10 list. Okay, so you're all going to send in your reasons that Jamil Zainasheff is sexier than Pamela Anderson. Okay, so it's not a first come first serve basis. You don't have to be the first one to listen to the podcast like you've had to have been the last couple weeks, and then of course you had to figure out the trivia. All you got to do is send in your ideas. Send us your top 10 list of the top 10 reasons you think that Jamil Zainasheff is sexier than Pamela Anderson.
Is a conical really worth that?
And we're looking
10
for
reasons. 10.
We're looking for a little creativity here, and we're going to go ahead and vote on which list we think is the best.
So everybody has to submit 10 reasons, or people just have to submit one, and we build a top 10?
Well, then we have 10 people that register, and we don't have room for 10 people to register. We only have room for one registrant. So everyone has to come up with a top 10 list. The best top 10 list will be the registrant for you podcast users for this week.
That would be easy on me.
So you can send that to conical@thebrewingnetwork.com. That's CONICAL. Conical@thebrewingnetwork.com. And send us your top 10 reasons you think Jamil Zainasheff is sexier than Pamela Anderson. And we'll read a bunch of them on the air because I think it'll be fun. I think what we'll do is we'll take like the 10 individual best and make our own top 10 lists from all you listeners just for the hell of it, because I think there's going to be some really good ones. But whoever has, the most really good ones, and we'll vote on it here, will be this week's podcast.
They're not really the same category. Like, he'd be closer to, like, why is he similar to Michael Jackson?
It's not similar. It's sexier.
But that's not funny.
No. I'm talking the singer, not the beer guy.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that's true. It would be easier to do. I wanted people to have to think about it, and I wanted it to be kind of ridiculous as well.
I'm telling you, I'm getting good ones already.
Right. You chatters might want to hold on to those and not just give them out. So that's what we'll do. And we won't be announcing the winner of that competition until we come back after the Thanksgiving holiday. So hang in there. If you don't get responses from me when you send in the Conical, that's because I'm not responding to anybody. We always announce the winners on the following show. So just hang in there for that. And that's how we're going to do it. Okay, let's get to the good stuff and start talking about beer. We're talking holiday beers. I got to take this call?
Yeah. Just do it real quick.
Okay. Did I hang up on him? Are you there?
I'm here.
Hey, Bob, what do you want, brother?
Hey, speaking of holiday beers,
yes.
The Forum Holiday Secret Santa Beer Exchange.
Oh, yes, thank you. Go ahead.
www.bubweb.com/Secret Santa. You sign up there, you'll get the name of some mope, and somebody will get your name, and you send them a couple of beers, and happy birthday, Jesus.
Happy Kwanzaa, Jesus, too.
Yeah.
Yes, and we did this, during the summer? Was it like June?
Yeah, it was Christmas in July.
It was the 4th of July.
July.
Uncle Sam.
That's right.
Christmas in July.
So we did that, and now we're doing the holiday one. You need to, what's the registration deadline?
If I remember right, it's December 8th. I mean, I totally sparked on it, so it's a short one this year. My wife's used to that.
Yes.
But, get in there, sign up. It's not a big deal. You just got to send 2 12-ouncers or a single 22-ounce bomber.
Yeah.
Or the equivalent, or you can always send more,
Case would be nice.
Christmas
keg.
season.
Sure. Yeah. And the whole idea is that everyone gets to try different beers from different regions and different homebrew.
No, it's homebrew. It's homebrew.
It's still from different regions, my brother. It's
Yeah,
not all coming from the same state. So you get to see what everybody's doing in your community here and sample theirs, and they're sampling yours, and you never know who's you're going to get, and it's kind of fun. So bubweb.com/Secret Santa, right?
Exactly.
There you go. So check it out, and it's a good thing that Bub's put together for us, and we appreciate it.
Hey, Bub, I just muted you in the chat.
Bub's not allowed to chat anymore.
I thought I was a good guy. Was I a bad guy last week?
It's just a random act of power.
It's a German in her.
Earlier on, I said, I'm sorry, Bob.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for Bob because she'd be the first one that he's going to hit.
Do use your other power on him, too.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Because that's fun.
The Wonder Twin power.
I'll tell you what, Bub, it's funny because as we were setting up these moderator rules, you're the only one we thought of the whole time. We're like, how fun is it going to be to use this on Bub?
All right. Go figure.
Yeah.
The one guy that was barely even in the chat last week, and I'm going to get all the crap.
Yeah.
Cry me a river.
Wow. Hopefully you sign up there, Daniela, because I can fix it.
I hear some infected beers coming her way.
All right, thanks, Boob.
All right, bye.
Right on. Bubweb.com/Secret Santa. Check it out, and it's our beer exchange. All the rules are there if you didn't catch it. You can do that there. Okay, our holiday beers we want to talk about, and Chris Graham is going to kind of lead off the discussion here about the two different kinds that we find when we're discussing holiday beers. And what is that, Chris?
You typically have, in general, they're usually going to be a maltier beer as opposed to a hoppier beer. And that's a general terms, though. I've had different beers that have been great, that have been hoppy, but for the most part, you have your spiced beer, which usually has some color to it, copper color or darker, and all kinds of spices used in there. Commonly cinnamon, allspice, nutmeg, vanilla, those type of, you think of like, what kind of pies did Grandma make? What spices did she use? Yeah. You'll find that in those beers.
Yeah.
Then you have your winter warmers, which are my preferred holiday beers.
Yeah.
A little higher in alcohol, but usually no real spices used.
Okay.
And that would be, locally, JJ's winter beer is great. It's huge alcohol relative, 8%, 7.5 to 8%. And he happens to kill it with Columbus hops on the end.
Okay.
But then you have ones that are in between the two, too. High in alcohol and in spice.
Okay. That's from E.J. Fair Brewery is what Chris Graham's talking about, too. That
Not everyone around the world knows that.
Knows JJ.
No.
And we actually also have a sample here when we start talking about those of Gordon Biersch's Winterbock, too.
Oh, that's a beautiful beer.
That's a great beer. And that actually brings me to a question, too. The winter beers, either spice or warmers, are almost always ales, right? They're rarely lagers.
Generally, yes.
Yeah.
It's usually, you look at most seasonal beers are usually going to be ales too, because let's face it, they don't want to tie up huge amounts for something they only do once a year.
Sure. So just as a parameter, they tend to be, and you can kind of kick them out early, and that's what we're hoping, that you can get out of this show too. Because if you do it now, you could have a good one for Christmas, right?
This is about the right time to do it. Especially, if you're going to do a spiced beer and keep it, 1050 starting gravity, you could even wait a little longer.
Okay.
But if you're going to hit something 1070, 1075, something like that, you probably actually wanted to do it a couple weeks ago, but now would be fine too.
Okay. 888-401-BEER is the number if you want to ask questions, and of course you can go to the chat room, hit the Chat Now button on our homepage, and you can ask our questions there and send them through Daniela, and we'll make sure that we talk about different things. I think we should start with the spiced beers, I think that the reason I want to start with that is because I really think it takes some time to learn and to talk about how to do those. And maybe you've all experienced this. I think anybody who's tried commercial winter beers that go the spice route, you've found the ones that the spice is almost completely overpowering.
Right, and that was the first three that we had tonight.
Yeah. Okay.
It was like the only one I really liked, excuse me, was the Marin.
Okay.
It tasted like a pale ale with some spices.
Right.
Instead of a spice ale.
Yeah. Now Jameel did a spice beer show, and one of the best things that he said for the whole show was, well, first that he's sexier than Pamela Anderson, and second was that it has to taste like beer.
Yep.
It still has to be a beer. And I thought it was really just, it sounds like an obvious thing to say, and it sounds very basic, but the more you try the spice beers, the more you get to know not everyone's is still a beer anymore, almost. It just really overpowers.
Subtlety is like a key to this style of beer, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's easy
But
to
most of
overdo
the commercial beers you have, a lot of times, especially local ones, they go overboard because they want you to know this is different from another beer.
Yeah.
But it's unfortunate because the really good ones taste like a standard beer, but just this hint of spice to it.
Yeah.
Which is the Marin that we had.
Yeah, can you imagine an apple pie that only tasted like cinnamon?
Right. And that's kind of the point, too, because even in cooking, it's the same thing. If you don't taste the apple, or in the pumpkin pie that only tastes like nutmeg, and not the pumpkin.
And then the other thing you want to know, and I'm sure we'll go further into this, is each spice is slightly different in terms of when to add it, how to add it, and is it going to be driven off if you throw it into a boil?
Yeah.
Is it an aromatic that's just going to flash right off of there?
Right.
Versus when you want to steep it.
Okay, well, let's move our way into that, and let's start with the beer itself.
Right.
What's different about, say, the malt of a spice, winter beer? Anything?
There doesn't really need to be something different, but most people, it's not going to be a beer that you accentuate the hops on. Not one you standardly want to be bitter. So what's the opposite of that is usually malty. So I like beers with a certain amount of crystal to them.
Okay.
I think crystal lends itself well, that little bit of sweetness to be balanced. Just think of an apple pie when you're making this spice beer.
Okay.
And think of that sweetness can handle the spice character to it. But if it's a bone dry beer, you're really not going to like that spicy character as much.
Yeah.
So just think your hops is spice. So, less hops, but up the spice.
Yeah.
You gotta have it balanced. Gotta hate this.
God, this is fun.
I can hear people driving right now going, God, please take this archive off.
I'm hating this too.
In fact, I'm going to start answering everything wrong to see if Doc will come in.
Yeah, so he goes, that's not right.
But
you want to add the spice after? No.
But you want to have enough malt to balance the spices.
Yeah.
Okay.
Usually it's going to be a maltier beer, whether you do that through the mashing process, which I would say would only be part of it. I would definitely up my crystals. I don't know. I'm kind of probably leaning heavy towards the crystals as my balance, but they seem to be the brightest, sweetest specialty malt, and they really balance it out well.
How about on base malt? Is there a difference between, say, British malt and maybe just American two-row as a base that lends itself better? Is there a difference there?
I'd probably go British Pale only because I like the flavor of British Pale, and it's probably going to come through more not having the hops balancing it out as much.
Because my impression, the reason I ask that is my impression is in the British malts is that they also tend to be just a little sweeter in themselves, and not a ton, but they compared to your regular a two-row, which I consider to be a little malty, but not, I wouldn't say sweet.
John would say biscuity.
Biscuity,
okay. Yeah.
Okay.
The tough thing would be is the beers that are made from British malt tend to be sweeter, maltier beers.
Okay.
As opposed to two-row because of the style of beer you're trying to make, which doesn't have the C hops, Cascade, Columbus, all those.
Okay. So if you want more of the biscuity character, you're going to go with the Brits?
I would.
Yeah. Okay. If you want more of is it a drier character with the two-row than it is biscuity?
More neutral.
Neutral would be a better. I mean, two-row's a beautiful grain. I mean, so you can use two-row to do this with it.
Okay.
There'd be nothing wrong with that. But you're going to accentuate it more with your other malts, some Cara Munich, some Crystal 60, maybe even some 120.
Okay.
And definitely, I like Crystal 40 in it.
Okay, so let's talk the crystals then, because what percentage of your grain bill are we talking?
100%.
No, all crystal.
No, let's just make some example recipes.
Okay.
If someone's making a spiced beer, it doesn't need to be high gravity. So let's say you choose 7 pounds of an extract, and if you're an all grain brewer, choose whatever it takes to get to 1055.
Okay.
I would probably use 1 to 2 pounds of specialty malt in a beer like that when making a spiced ale.
Okay.
And 1 to 1.5 might be crystals, and the rest, a different one. But in your typical one, Crystal 60 is a beautiful thing.
Okay. Now, in Lava Bond of your crystals, because I'm getting a question through that people want to know, would you want to use a low a low Lava Bond to not increase the color when you're adding the crystal?
Well, really, the beers we've had tonight have actually, I think, been fairly light for holiday ales. They're usually a darker color, but there's no style requirements for it, so it's whatever makes you happy.
Okay.
To what you would use.
But if you wanted it to stay light, you would use a lower.
Of course.
Okay.
No matter what I did, even if it's going to be dark, I would have Crystal 40 in there.
Okay.
Because that's my favorite sweetening grain.
Okay.
It's a very bright, sweet character to it. And then I would probably personally put either 120, 80, or 60 in there as well.
Okay. So just a combination of all of it, too. Okay. And those, when you get up to the 120, are you doing that for the sweetness as well, or is that for your color?
It's different color and sweetness, and it's a different sweetness. It's not that bright sweetness, it's more that raisiny sweetness.
Okay. And so by adding the different Lava Bonds of crystals, is it just a complexity that you're looking for?
Exactly.
Okay.
And you could also use a Cara Munich as well, and that also would do that for you.
The same type of thing. Okay.
It all layers it, so.
Yeah.
I just was looking at you because I was going to ask you a question, Doc, and then I thought better of it.
I'm a big fan of the keep things simple. I see a lot of these, and I love Special B, and I love Honey Malt, and I love Aromatic, and I love Victory, and I love all those malts, and I see these recipes people come up with for the holiday ales, and you really never know what made the flavor for them because they use like 20 grains.
So much, yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with having fun and playing around with all that. But sometimes there's something really clean and repeatable about a simpler beer recipe.
You might want to start with one of your favorite beers that you always brew.
Yeah.
And spice that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I was going to ask, too, because I wonder if, since it's a spice beer, and we all know, and we're going to get to this, too, we all know how much a spice can overpower and kind of overtake the beer. Do you want it to be a more complex grain bill, like you're talking about, in order to counter that? Or could you just do a 2-row beer, a little bit of crystal in there, and then add your spices? Or would that be too plain of a beer, I guess is what I mean.
I would love to taste it if you do it. I think it'll be a pretty nice beer if you're respectful of the spices that you put in there.
Okay.
So, you can spice a Pilsner if you want. There's really nothing wrong with doing that. It's just, if you want to talk commercial holiday ales, you're not going to typically find that.
Okay. Someone wanted me to back up a bit to you said you could use Cara Munich as well if you like.
Absolutely.
So they want to know then if a low Lava Bond Cara Munich then would taste similar as a sweet, similar and sweet as crystal.
Yes, but there's nothing wrong with using both.
Okay.
You could use only Cara Munich, but I wouldn't want to use a high percentage like that. I wouldn't want to use 1.5 to 2 pounds of just Cara Munich.
Okay.
I try to keep my adjunct grains about 15%.
Yeah.
And you can go a little bit more with one of these, but I wouldn't go more than 17 to 20.
Okay.
Probably.
So 15%, you agree that's a nice average?
It's a nice average. It's one thing that most extract brewers don't look at it the same way. They don't usually use the percentage rule because you're kind of using two different, using the same measurement but two different things.
Yeah.
Because one has a much higher lending sugar power, the extracts do. So for extract brewers, I'm a big fan on most extract beers being 2 pounds or less, or and under per 5 gallons.
Okay.
And this happens to be one of the ones that usually pushes the 2 pounds or more.
Okay. I gotcha. Okay, so there's your general grain bill. That what Chris Graham would do.
Now that's on a spiced
on a spiced one, of course. And we'll move. We'll go ahead. I think we'll go ahead and kind of go all the way through spice and then move into the winter warmers.
And the spice ones are usually pretty easy. I mean, you don't want a defining yeast character in there. You don't want usually on a spice because the spices are making the flavor, so you're not going to use a highly phenolic yeast strain normally.
Okay,
you're going to use a clean, fast finishing 001, 002.
The Cal Ales.
Yeah, 1056, 1968. Okay. Those strains, which are quick, easy, usually readily available to the brewer.
Okay.
Fast finishers. If you want some unique beers, some of the Belgian strains are beautiful in Christmas ales. Or holidays, sorry. But, yes. not commonly
Kwanzaa
found.
ales.
Yes.
We should have that as the third category.
Yeah.
At the end, weird beers.
Right.
Weird beers.
I want you to have a B3 recipe that's Kwanzaa beer. It's because you have like your Christmas ale or what do you guys call it? Because you do have it's now the holiday?
Yeah.
Did it used to be a Christmas?
Oh yeah.
And did you actually get complaints about it?
Never from a customer, from an employee.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Did he want it to be the Kwanzaa ale?
No.
No, okay. Want it to be the Hanukkah ale?
Yeah. Good guy.
Why can't you have one of each? I mean, just put them all, it's the same recipe, just label it different.
There you go. What would you like?
Yeah. I don't celebrate this ale.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything to me, ale. That's fine too.
Happy Tuesday.
Okay.
Ale.
How about, go ahead.
Oh, so let's just finish it. We talked yeast. Let's talk hops a little bit.
That's what I want to talk about. Exactly. Because before we go to spice, I think it's important to realize how much of that sweetness we're going to balance with bitterness.
Yeah. So on the bitterness, I would keep it low. I'd keep it, 20 IBUs, lower. Neutral. I love Magnum for that, where it's just kind of a clean background bitterness as opposed to some of the more aggressive ones out there. But there's no reason not to use, say, like, God, I'm blanking right now. Northern Brewer,
okay,
or a hop like that as well. But really, if you're going to willamette any kind of flavor aroma, you want to be real respectful of the spices. Per 5 gallons, I'd use no more than a half an ounce of each, and I'd do something like a Willamette, Liberty, Willamette, those type hops, which don't tend to be overpowering in the citrusy area.
Okay.
Or you could go the other route, do like a Hallertauer.
Sure. The noble
hops,
noble, clean, maybe a little bit minty and spicy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, keep it subtle as opposed to real aggressive.
Right.
Just stay away from. I mean, generally, I like to use the C hops as all your real citrusy style hops, and that's not Saaz, by the way.
No.
Okay. All right. So light on the hops. What'd you say? 20?
I'd probably go 20.
It depends on the gravity.
Sure.
Okay.
So, all
right,
no more than 1 to 1.
Okay. I have a caller as a gravity question, actually. Wichita, you got a question for us?
Yeah, I was wondering if there is, what sort of considerations we need to take into account with regards to what gravity we're shooting for as to what we're going to add in terms of our spicing.
Okay, it's a good question.
Yeah,
because even though we're not talking winter warmers, the spice ones, the gravity counts too.
Absolutely. I'd usually say most people in the spice category are going 1050 or higher. Rarely do you see something under that.
Okay.
You can. There'd be nothing wrong with that, but keep everything in a sliding scale. And it's hard to really give people numbers, like a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon is too much, or 1 teaspoon's too much, because that's a perception thing.
Okay.
It also depends on when you add it, how you add it, and, if you're using whole sticks, that's totally different from using a ground powder.
Okay.
So your gravity is directly usually tied into how much spices you're going to use. And I hate to say this, but it's just like anything in the scientific world. Bench trials really give you what you want to do.
Yeah.
And I don't know anyone making 12 ounces of beer at a time, but
yeah,
I usually tell people start lighter and go heavier each progressive time as opposed to going the opposite direction.
we'll talk about how to up the spices at the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you go too low.
Okay.
Exactly. I like a good starting point on most things would be like a quarter ounce of the spices that you're using. If, say, you're adding them during fermentation or pre-fermentation.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like Doc said, you're going to have a chance to correct yourself and add more. You can never take this spice away, like everything else, but you can always add more. If you're kegging, this is a lot easier of a game than if you're bottling.
Okay. Because you can fix it there.
Yeah. So you really, when you get into spices, that's a whole other thing to talk about too. Fresh spices versus powdered. Because powdered's a lot easier. It's readily available, and you're going to use a lot less of it.
Right.
But some people, including myself, sometimes like that feeling of working with the raw ingredient as opposed to something that's already been handled for me.
Definitely.
Plus, things are usually fresher if you get it to the local market or whatnot. So take something like vanilla bean, which is, I think, hugely common in the last 3 to 4 years in homebrewing. And one of my go ahead.
So would it be good then to maybe spice a little bit towards the end of the boil, see how it is in the fermenter after primary, and then perhaps add a little more if necessary later?
Each spice is different to how it's going to react. And so if you add some during the boil, such as vanilla, you will never taste it in the final product, generally, unless you're really adding it in. Because it's so volatile that during fermentation, all the CO2's coming that's developing during fermentation is just going to scrub it right out of the beer. You generally want to add that. Most of your aromatics you want to add after fermentation, not before fermentation, if you really want to keep it in your beer. And personally, I think that's what, most of our taste is perceived from smell to start with. So personally, especially if you're going to keep it subtle, I'd rather most of this stuff be done post-initial fermentation.
Okay.
But there's nothing wrong. I mean, even the ingredient kits I sell for holiday ales usually has people putting them in the boil. Reason being, when's the safest time to add anything? When it's boiling. People won't screw up their beer usually if, by contamination any other way.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But like some easy ways of handling a lot of those things, and one of my favorite ways, because it's fun for more than one reason, is using something like a high alcohol, like bourbon, to soak vanilla beans in, or to even I've seen people do cinnamon sticks and different spices in bourbon first, and then adding all of that to their beer after the primary fermentation's over.
Bourbon and everything.
Yeah, bourbon's a great thing. I mean, it really lends itself nicely to that spiced ale because it gives it that hot character that a winter warmer, which we're going to get to here soon.
Yeah.
The reason a winter warmer is it gives you that hot alcohol kind of feeling.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Thanks, Wichita. I appreciate the phone call.
I hope that helped.
Thank you, and Doc, feel better, man. It pains me to listen to you.
Pains all of us, unfortunately.
It's paining me too.
Yeah, but generally, generally to answer Wichita's question, I mean, it sounded like he was on the right track there. If you're going to start, the earlier in the process you go, the lighter you can start, and you can keep adding it in.
Okay.
Some different things I wanted to address with him is a great time to add a lot of spices is in the keg itself.
Okay.
If you're kegging. Those little stainless steel T-balls are a beautiful way to do it where they kind of clamp closed. You could put the spices in there. We make a lid, and I'm sure anyone else could figure out how to make one where you just weld a little tab on there that you can tie off to.
Okay.
That way it's suspended hanging into your keg.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And two things can either get it out of there. A, drinking the liquid out, or B, taking the top off and pulling it out of there.
You guys make a lid for the corny that you're saying just has a welded hook on the bottom.
Basically, yeah.
It's a little
welded tab with a hole in it, and you can either tie, clamp, whatever you want to it.
Which is good for dry hopping, too.
Oh, yeah. Both of those. Because I used to put things in baggies and shove it between the dip tube and the side of the keg.
Yeah.
And there's nothing worse than when that thing falls, gets down near the dip tube and clogs your keg up, and you still got 4.5 gallons of beer.
Yeah, plus you
clogged.
shouldn't be shoving anything near your dip tube.
Hey.
Because it just
personal.
Gets to be a mess in general.
Or your bag.
You don't want any
you
don't want any infection when you've shoved the bag right next to the dip tube.
Yeah, never cram your bag up in between your dip tube and your sidewall, so to speak. Use a hook instead. That listener who maybe made it all the way through the show, just tuned out. Yeah, that was it right there. Okay, well, since we've kind of moved into how much spice to use, too, in relation to gravity, I know that you can't, like you've said, you can't say only use a teaspoon, only use that. But can we talk about the spices that are more overpowering than others? Because for me, when I drink, in general, the beers that I find to be overpowering spice beers, it's nutmeg.
Yeah.
It's such a strong spice. So that's one that we got to be careful with. What else?
I mean, they all, like cinnamon to me is the one I always pick out first, and I don't like it. Ginger's another one that personally I'm not a big fan of hitting me right in the face when I, take that first smell of beer.
The first beer we had tonight was all ginger.
Yeah. Okay.
The one that smelled like feet.
Yeah. Ginger feet.
Yeah. Anytime someone opens a beer and they say it smells like feet,
that's a porn star, isn't it?
Gingerfeet.com. Go check that out.
Everyone just left. Silence in here.
So those are overpowering.
Yeah, and then my favorite thing to take it easy on spice-wise is not commonly found in beer, but is, what do you call it, spruce.
Okay.
Most disgusting flavor I've ever had in a beer before.
Really?
Yeah.
Was spruce.
Yeah, you gotta read Joy at Homebrewing at some point in your brewing career, and I was in college and they had this recipe for Bruce and Kay's Honey Spruce Lager. I'll never forget the name of that beer.
Okay.
And it was a lager that came out beautiful. Nice big malty character to it, and then the spruce was the most disgusting flavor I've ever had in my life.
Wow.
Yeah, my brother and his friend.
You've ever had in your mouth?
I wouldn't go that far. I mean, it's been worse, but
but in his life, yes. Okay. Now, how about the difference between you're talking about using, powdered form or fresh form, and I think we know that the powdered form tends to be concentrated, so a stronger. You're going to get a stronger thing just out of using that. Are there certain spices that you're maybe better off using a natural source than a powdered source?
I mean, if you ask like Randy Mosier, he'll tell you all of them. Now, keep in mind when you choose a spice, read up about it. How is its flavors extracted? Because some are extracted better by alcohol, some are extracted better by heat. So you kind of want to know which spice you're using and how to best pull that spice out of its solid form for, to make it readily available for the beer.
Okay. All right, so it's all going to depend there.
Yeah, no, most of them are alcohol soluble. So that's where my bourbon comes in real handy.
And you can dose it back easily with that.
Yeah. And you don't have to add all that bourbon in if you want. You can make up a jar of it, drink some for your Doc, and then pour the rest in your beer.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Good for my throat.
Yeah. There's if one of my favorite holiday beers was made by a home brewer, actually, who did it just as when we get to winter warmers, but he did a winter warmer, then took a really nice bourbon from, is it Potrero Hill? Is that the one that Fritz owns?
Yeah.
From them. And did French oak cubes in it.
Yeah.
And vanilla beans.
Okay.
And did 3 vanilla beans, a bunch of French oak cubes, let it soak for a month, and then added that into his keg, and it was just unbelievable.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, while you're on that, I did have a question come through earlier. There was someone wanted to know, is there any special wood chips I can use for a holiday beer? Although he's talking about like an IPA.
Sure.
Holiday beer, but,
sure. Wood's good.
Anything wood in an IPA.
Yeah, if you want that vanilla Neuden character, you want French usually.
Okay.
American oak is beautiful, and some people will say more complex, some people will say less complex.
More spicy.
More spicy. I like them both, but in the holiday beers, and especially with the bourbon, the French oak goes real well.
Okay. I really like the soaking in bourbon deal because for the sanitation you're talking about, and also just to add that flavor.
Exactly.
And I like the bourbon in the winter warmers. I think we'll probably talk about it again when we do those, but I hadn't thought about it for just a regular spice because I think that's actually just a really good.
Well, it is a spice in itself too.
Yeah.
You know.
What about soaking the oak chips in the bourbon?
Oh, absolutely.
And then dump it. And then
that's what I was referring to.
That is what you're saying. Soak that in bourbon, not in the beer necessarily.
You want to sanitize them as well. So you could either do one of two things. You could either soak it in that and just pour the juice off.
Yeah.
Or the cubes as well.
Dump them
either
all
way.
Yeah.
You know, it depends on how much contact time you want it to go.
Okay. Here's a good question about using spices that came through from the chat is how do you keep the oils in certain spices from killing your head retention?
You don't worry about it.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Really?
They're at such a small amount. It's really not such an issue. If you're brewing a really high alcohol beer, it's going to kill the head anyway.
Yeah, you could plan around it by making your base beer. Because like any other beer, you're going to make your base beer and then add spices to it.
Yeah.
You know, so you can plan on having as big of a head as you can get on that beer, adding wheat and, to build that up. But yeah, there's no stability foam agents I know that will neutralize the spice oils, but yet let them come through flavor-wise.
Okay. Now this is a spice. The question came through is, are chipotles soluble in alcohol? You guys know anything about that?
Do I look like a scientist?
Doc, what do you think?
You ask a favor.
I guess people want to know if maybe what he's just getting at is if he puts chipotles in there, is he going to get anything out of them? Is he going to get flavor?
I would actually soak them in vodka.
I think they are alcohol soluble, and I only know that from like watching those barbecue cook-offs.
Oh yeah,
and it's the oils in it. So yeah, I would soak it in some sort of alcohol.
And then put it in the beer.
And then put it in. Stop it. I'm forcing this out.
I know. Hey, I want you folks to realize the good doctor's dedication here. You know, he easily could have said, what could I say? He left me a message
today, I think.
Today. And I didn't even bother calling him back. I heard the message and just went, oh, shit, man.
Yeah, you called me and you're like, did you hear from Doc today?
Yeah,
I'm like, no, what's going on?
Anyone else had heard your voice?
I'm thinking he's in jail or something.
Well, I called you last night and it was getting bad.
It was getting bad. And anyway, but never at any point between last night and today or anything does Dr. Scott say, hey, I'm thinking about not making it out. And the man's here, and we're going to make fun of him for it. I'm not saying that. But it's still very cool. The show must go on, and Doc's showing us just that. Okay, we're going to take a break. When we come back, I think we're going to move on to winter warmers. But don't think that you can't still send us your questions about the spices if you feel that we haven't covered anything you want to know, because we'll do that too. But we'll talk about our higher gravity beers when we come back and how to deal with that in your seasonal beers. Stay tuned. It's the Brewing Network. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Brewcasters on the Brewing Network.
Ivan the Terrible. Yeah, too foreboding. Louis the 16th? Not too popular. Hey, dude, what's up?
What are you doing?
I'm trying to come up with a new name for the Brewing Network Sunday show.
Really?
Yeah, they're accepting entries. You know, from now till December 10th, the 5 best names will be entered for a chance to win one of the 2 Conicals being given away by Beer, and More Beer and HCA Industries.
I don't think that's what they mean.
Buster. I had a cat named Buster.
Dude, they're not going to name the Sunday show after your stupid cat.
Roy.
Are you feeling okay?
Jim Bob?
You're mental.
Sally.
Dude, you're supposed to come up with a fun and entertaining way of naming the show, not name the show.
Dipstick, a kraut, and a drunk dentist.
The Brewing Network Comical Christmas Giveaway. Name the show for your chance to win between now and December 10th.
You're listening to Three Guys.
Excuse me, what about me?
Sorry. You're listening to Three Guys and One Girl use a radio show as an excuse to drink more beer. The Brewcasters on the Brewing Network.
All right, we're back on our holiday beer show, where you can also register to win a conical from B3, courtesy of Beer, and More Beer, and HCA Industries. We're going to be registering another listener here. Still going to wait a little bit. You got to hang in there. You got to stay tuned. You got to have some fun with us, and then we'll get you registered. We're going to register one more person live. You podcasters are going to register by sending in your top 10 reasons that Jameel is sexier than Pamela Anderson. And that's going to give you the chance to register to win a conical, too. And
I know that you can think of at least 100 reasons on the top of your head.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a male.
Things he says in his sleep.
Yeah. Daniela, I wish I had the super administrative powers on you. I would ban you from the studio. Which brings me to my next point. I want to make fun of the chat room really quick, because now they're all mousy this week. Everyone's afraid about how it went last week.
They all been eunuchs now.
Yeah.
They are so cute. I feel like I'm hanging out with my girlfriends at the tea hour.
What a bunch of
Everybody
pussies.
is so polite and great.
It's so funny.
Really nice been talking to you. Chip, chip, cheerio, and all that.
Wow, Bob, you're looking nice today, even though I can't see you. Wonderful chat we're having here.
It's an honor to be with these people tonight.
What a double standard we've created.
Yeah, we make them be nice and then make fun of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because you have the power to just cut them off with the balls.
Well, they're all afraid to drop the F-bomb now and everything else. I will say this. I have the option to actually ban words. You know, you can type in all the words that you don't want people to say, and it'll bleep them, essentially.
Oh, can't you have fun with that then? Use like and.
I thought of it, yeah. It's like, yeah, I thought of like banning. I wanted to ban bub, like just the word, like no one's allowed to say bub. But I don't. Look, I'm not banning words. I'm not censoring you guys. Have fun. You know, just if it gets to be too much, moderate yourselves. That's all. That's funny though. Bunch of sissies.
Now they're cussing in German.
Yeah, do that. That's fine. Okay, we are on the holiday beer show. We're going to talk a little more about this. Let's talk about some of the beers that we've been drinking here tonight so far, so we can give our recommendations before we move on. Doc stopped at a great store in San Francisco, City Beer Store, a good bottle shop.
Right, and they're very helpful. And I had like 0 minutes to be in there.
Oh yeah.
And I said, we're doing the show tonight on spice beers and holiday beers.
Yeah.
What do you got?
Yeah. He knew about the show, right?
Yeah.
You told him? That's good. I'll tell you, there's a couple of things that by mentioning the Brewing Network, there's only one of two things that can happen. It'll either totally help you out and they'll say cool, or to get you thrown right out of the place. And you never know which one's going to work, so be wary of where you throw the Brewing Network name around. Luckily, it worked for you at the City Beer
Well, it worked there. It didn't work at 21st Amendment.
No, they'll throw you out over there. You mention our name. Okay, so you brought a few in we've been having, and some we've liked, some we haven't. Mostly, they've been spice beers so far.
The ones I liked, the ones that actually tasted like beer.
Okay, let's talk about it. You want to name the ones that you've liked?
Got the Marin especially. It tastes like a pale ale with some spices.
Yeah.
And that one is a spice beer as opposed to, Winter Warm or anything like that.
A lot of the other ones, it was just overpowering.
And I'm even reading the back of the Marin bottle, and they talk about using Munich malt, Sterling, and Steering Golding hops.
Okay.
So, your noble hops as opposed to your American citrusy style hops.
Yeah.
But that actually had a nice malt background. I could taste the graininess of the malt. It was nice.
What about the Shipyard beer? And Shipyard Winters is one we had earlier on. I think I heard you guys giving a thumbs down to it, but I actually liked the Shipyard. And this is an example, I think, of one that is very spicy. The Shipyard was a spicy beer, but I think it had enough of a malt background to make it acceptable. But I thought I heard you guys kind of...
No, it was just Dave and Chris. I was drinking it with you because...
Okay.
No, I this wasn't one I threw out or anything.
Oh, so you guys like the Shipyard
I
too?
thought it was okay. I mean, it wasn't like it wasn't the one that stands out the most as a good side to me, but it wasn't like the first one where we all got rid of it.
What's it called exactly? Shipyard what? Does it have a...
Winter Ale?
It's just winter ale. Okay.
Special brew.
And that one's cool because they're actually from Maine, but you can get their beer almost all over the place, so I wanted to mention that one.
Great brewery, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. I was also had their pumpkin beer when we did a pumpkin Thanksgiving type of thing show on the Free FM, and I could only find 2 pumpkin spice beers here, and one was theirs, and the other one was from Buffalo Bills.
I saw a couple in the bottle shop today, but I had already gotten
those were those
ones, but I didn't grab them.
I actually got them from that bottle shop, so they only had the 2 I just mentioned. And Buffalo Bills, while some of the people we were having it with liked it, to me it was all spice. It was a perfect example of a pumpkin pie of a beer, and not much beer left to it. And the Shipyard, on the other hand, had again like this one, had a nice balance.
It's always going to be a tough category to put your beer into in terms of what people are going to think. They're either going to think it's too spicy or not spicy enough. I mean, there's rarely going to be like, oh, that's the perfect spice right there. Maybe after the 10th beer you've had, it's a perfect blend.
They're all perfect blends. You could have mine and it'd be a perfect blend after 10. Well, maybe 12.
You could have a pale ale and go, that's so spicy. It's nice.
Those sea hops are really cinnamony this year.
The chocolate and vagina one.
Wow. That's a good one.
Yeah. Put that on the forum.
We should all make a point of being silent whenever Doc talks tonight so that we can cut nice, clean audio clips out.
Say that chocolate and what?
The chocolate and vagina mix.
That was perfect.
Yeah. I'm just going to give you listeners at home who are going to take these clips a hint. A little compression goes a long way. You compress that right there, and he'll sound like a movie villain. Guaranteed. Okay. Well, why don't we, with that, move on into other beers. And by the way, Dr. Scott's brother is hanging out with us today. You want to introduce yourself to the listeners at home? We've talked to you, I think, on the phone before.
A couple of times. Tune in from Southern California.
Yeah, okay.
He'll listen with my other brother, and I know they're just laughing in the garage.
We try to get in the chat room and talk about his faults. And, he's not the beer god to us.
Right.
He's just our brother.
Can we get some childhood stories?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
He doesn't know how to spell, even though he's a doctor.
That's actually kind of a common doctor thing, I think. They can't write or spell.
That's why we scribble.
Yeah, because you can't. You're like, guys.
Oh, they want to know I can't spell.
He needs a defrib or something. Just get one of those.
They can say defrib.
2 cc's of defrib.
Yeah. Is that possible? But you are in the alcohol business yourself.
I also am a bartender. Been in the business for almost 10 years now.
I'm sorry.
A pusher.
Didn't start out that way, but yeah, I do push the beer.
Yeah, that a boy.
And
he'll serve my homebrew to his regulars.
Oh yeah,
really?
I have regular customers that come in, and like when I come back, they'll find out I went up north, and they'll say, "Hey, did you bring some of your brother's stuff home?" Even the other bartenders go, "Hey, he was up at his brother's, and he brews great beer."
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. And are you a beer guy yourself?
Oh yeah, strictly beer.
Yeah, okay.
Not too much into the wine, not too much into the hard stuff, but yeah, I love beer.
Okay.
Real beer. Not the mass-produced stuff.
Good for you. So was it the other brother then who's just barely gotten into it? Okay.
Yeah, he was the Coors Light guy.
Okay.
20 years Coors Light guy, and now he's nothing but
Hefeweizen.
Real Hefeweizens, Hogartens,
and
Lambics. Okay.
He's weaning. He's in the female stage.
But he jumped off hard. I mean, you go from Coors Light, which we all know is just an excuse to pee.
Yeah.
I mean, right into a real Hefeweizen, so that's a big step.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay. All right. Well, good to know. It's a family trait, the love of beer, and you just have to beat it into the other one.
Oh yeah.
Well, after hearing about Doc's mom,
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, exactly. We all know that your mom was half cocked while she was pregnant with all of you.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's old pictures of the family albums, and all the women are sitting around pregnant, but there's also beer bottles on the table.
So it's not a myth.
No, it's true.
The first time Doc came on the show and said that to me, I I brought the show to a screeching halt, and I said, "That is not. Are you serious right now?" And
we're Irish and German, and you know what those people,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Fight and drink.
They like beer and guns.
We're angry people who are bad cooks.
We fight with our fists.
Oh, I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Sounds like a threat, though.
Vigorously.
Yes. All right, let's move on to the what we could call winter warmer style of holiday beers, which tend to be a higher gravity, higher alcohol. They can support a lot of the bourbon type of aging and adding as well. So let's get into that and start again with the grain bill. How are we getting these gravities higher? And for that matter, why are we getting these gravities higher?
Well, let's talk about the word warmer.
Okay.
Warmer is usually the concept of higher, more alcohol to it.
Okay.
To where you're really tasting that alcohol kick as opposed to, all the spicy characters and regular malt. So usually you're going to start on 1065 or higher. Let's say for your average home brewer, this would be a good time to use 9 pounds or more of malt extract. Now, keep in mind, the more you go, the longer you're going to have to age it a little bit, to get some good flavors. So now's not the time to add like 15 pounds of malt extract.
Okay.
To have it ready for Christmas.
Yeah, I'm ready for Christmas.
Okay.
Yeah, like right now, you could probably get away with 9 pounds.
Okay.
9-pound hammer.
Yeah. And again, play with your malts. Have fun. The one we did last year, little collection of us brewing, we did equivalent of 9 pounds of extract. We did all grain, but same thing. Half pound of Crystal 120, half pound of Crystal 40, half pound of Cara Munich, and 2 ounces of black roasted barley. Beautiful malt backbone on that one.
Okay.
Then we just went fairly light on the bitterness for it, but then followed up heavily with Willamette at about the 8-minute mark, about 2 ounces of Willamette, and then 4 ounces of Columbus right at the end.
Okay.
Which Columbus has the cousin aroma.
Yeah.
And so it's just a beautiful way to end that one off.
Sorry, I'm daydreaming about that. Okay, sorry.
And another reason to brew these in the wintertime is I've always been a proponent that certain beers are better in certain weather.
Okay.
We're cold, we wouldn't be drinking a wit right now.
Sure.
Yeah.
We would, but it's not. It doesn't have the same impact.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want to be, having a tailgate party drinking this winter warmer in front of me. It'd be like drinking blood, right, Dave?
Oh yeah.
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 Too thick, too warm when it's hot.
It's just not what you want to do.
It's not that refreshing kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's not like that anymore. It's cold outside. It's dark. Just like my beer, cold and dark.
Cold and dark, like my women.
Yeah.
I actually had
women. Women?
Previous women.
That's plural.
Well, I'm just talking about the dog.
The dog is not a woman.
She's cold and dark. I actually had all these
cold and dark tonight.
Yeah. I had big plans of brewing this whole series of beers for the winter. I got one done. In fact, I got to keg it tonight before I leave, otherwise it's going to go bad.
I know you got 2 done.
But, oh, that's true. We did the Doppelbock at Doc's, and then I got this one here. But I guess I'm just agreeing with you about brewing for the season, and I really had all these plans in front of me I wanted one for Thanksgiving, and one for Christmas, and one just to be a winter warmer, and, the whole thing. You just get busy. And
It's never too late.
Yeah. Well, I do, though, wanted to reiterate, because someone sent in the question specifically, is it too late to do a winter warmer for this Christmas? And we're kind of saying with the high gravity, it might be.
You could get away with it, I think, if you did a sterile filter.
Okay.
So, EJ Fair Brewing, they happen to be my next door neighbors, so I get to see how professional brew houses work. And they got home from GABF, and they're like, oh boy, that winter warmer is due in 3 weeks. And they came back, brewed it, and sterile filtered it, and I was like, no way that's going to be ready to go. And they had to bottle it, too, for the Cost Plus market.
Wow.
And I thought it came out great.
Really?
And, pretty much a 3-week turnaround.
So the filtering, and you've talked about this, Doc, filtering acts, it's similar to aging. By pulling out some of the things that would drop? Is that what you're saying?
Yes and no, but yes, it's going to make things
cleaner.
It's going to take out things you want to drop out.
Okay.
So if you normally were to age it, those things would normally settle out or expel themselves as a volatile that are just going to be stripped right out of there. It wouldn't be equivalent, like you were not going to do a huge beer, a barley wine, and serve it in a week just because you sterile filtered.
Okay.
Yeah, it takes some time for the things to mellow out.
It won't, I guess that's the best thing. It's going to take away all the kind of complex things, but it won't take away alcohol. Alcohol, no matter what, it's going to take time to age.
Okay. What is a sterile filter?
What size?
0.45.
They want to know what size.
Okay. 0.45 micron absolute, not just regular. Nominal doesn't count as sterile. Now, for most of us homebrewers, it'd be just fine. But what counts as a sterile one is 0.5 absolute.
Okay, that's actually the filter that goes inside the housing.
Yeah, how small of a particle it'll filter out.
Okay.
And when he's talking about nominal, it's a range.
Yeah. It's an average, a nominal.
An average.
What can fit through on average through the whole thing. So some could be tiny.
Bigger ones, some smaller ones, but when he's talking absolute, it's not going to let anything more than a 0.45 through.
Yeah. And, the more I know about filtering, side note, the more I like plate filters now.
Okay.
I used to use plate filters when I first started. They leaked like a sieve. I hated them. Went to cartridge. But cartridge, that's where nominal and absolute made a huge difference. And now I'm back to plate because they made them better. And I find you can get away with even a little bit larger of a size micron and still have a cleaner finish.
Okay. So let's go back then to the malt bill and getting a higher gravity. The idea is a bigger backbone to hold that hot alcohol too, and not to mention that it creates that.
Yeah, and you don't want to make a hot alcohol by warming it up. That's a common misconception. I know one guy who does his all in the 80s.
Oh, really?
You make fusel alcohol, and that's a hot alcohol.
Sure.
Yeah, but it's a disgusting hot alcohol that gives you headaches.
Okay, so keep your normal fermentation control.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so with that then, let's talk, let's talk yeast. And you generally need to have a bigger pitch. Is it a different kind of yeast you need to use? What's the deal?
Bigger, healthier, and pay attention to the selection you've used.
Okay.
Now, I'd say most strains could handle any kind of 7 to 8% alcohol beer if treated properly.
Okay.
Some better suited than others. American Hefeweizen might not be that well suited for that, style of beer.
Sure.
But your Englishes, your Californias, your Dry English, your 099, your Belgian strains, all of those could handle that, no problem.
Okay.
As long as you pitch a proper quantity and you make sure it's healthy.
Starter?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Or double pitch, one or the other.
So 2 bags or 2 vials.
Two bags. Anytime you're over 1065, that's my rule of thumb right there.
Is that your high gravity mark, 1065?
It's your usual starting point of what you consider high gravity.
Okay.
There's no defining point where you wear a different hat, but it's close to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, put that hat on.
You want to wear it on the left side when you're under 1050.
Yeah. Okay, but right there around 1060, 1065, you're starting to talk high gravity. I'm trying to think. I don't know if I've ever brewed a beer over. I think I've 1061 is the biggest beer.
You pansy.
I know, what a big sissy. I'd never gotten higher than that.
Doc starts his Hefeweizens at about 1060.
Do you really, Doc? Man,
they're amazing.
Now I feel shorter than you are. I feel like I'm not tall anymore.
Yeah, Chris has fallen victim to a couple of my Hefeweizens.
Yeah, I figured 3-4 Hefeweizens, how bad could that be when you're sitting there going,
Yeah. Okay.
I think I'm starting to get sympathetic voice things for Doc here.
Yeah, he's starting to lose it.
Yeah.
Here's a good question because people, you were talking about the fusel alcohols when you ferment too hot. So people want to know how to do a high gravity beer without getting it to be quite so hot. So the question specifically this person says is, I'd like to know how to keep the gravity guys from tasting so hot. Aside from stopping short, like at say 1020, maybe they don't want to have to stop it. It seems like when I brew, they tend to have more of a barley wine type of flavor. I'd like more of the malt to shine through and stray away from the sweetness of the barley wine. So how about that?
They're going to want to play around a little bit with the malt they use. So maybe adding a higher percentage of Munich malt might help them out quite a bit there, giving you that cloying sweet character, such as a Doppelbock would typically have.
Okay.
And upping their specialties just a bit to where I have a feeling they're fermenting out so fast and vigorous, or vigorosely.
Yeah, as we say here.
That's what's giving them those hot characters to it. So
temperature
is everything. I mean, if you're playing with California or 1056 American, same strain relatively, keep it around 1066 or 66 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
68. Don't let it get up above that, because that'll take off on you and really create those characters, those flavors that you're trying to avoid.
Okay.
English would be my preferred, when trying to avoid those characters.
Okay. Let's talk complexity of the grain bill while we're kind of talking about this part of it too, because, well, most of your big beers are dark in color. Mm-hmm. And I know that's obviously partly because there's a lot more grain involved, but I think it's also because there's a lot of different kind of grains involved. So how complex does a grain bill have to be a big beer? If it's a big beer, but it's because you just put a shitload of 2-row in there, well, what happens?
Pliny the Elder is a perfect example of a beer that pretty much only has 2-row in it.
Okay.
Huge beer.
Yeah.
Light blonde in color and almost no distinctive malt, like, backbone to it, because I mean it's really all hops.
It's a hop. It's a glass of hops. Yeah.
But I mean that's your greatest example as far as the West Coast is concerned. What we can get.
Good example.
As just using base malt.
And if you've never seen it, by the way, it looks like your average pale ale.
Yeah.
But it tastes like not your average triple IPA.
You might as well shove a bunch of Amarillo hops in your mouth and drink some water through it.
But that's a good example because the gravity on that is going to be fairly high. What do you think? That's in the 1060s, right?
Oh, I'd say even higher.
Really?
That's a double IPA, so I think it's up in the 80s, I would guess.
Okay. So for these winter guys, do you want more complexity, and do you want that just for color, or what are we dealing with?
Caramely, color, complexity, flavor. I mean, the more you can layer on your winter warmer, the nicer it's going to be. I mean, this Winterbock by Gordon Biersch, you were drinking it a little bit earlier.
Yeah, I got some here.
I mean, that's a beautiful beer, and it has all kinds of, like, just nice layers of flavor to it.
Yeah.
Your high alcohol is going to give you a certain flavor, and it's a sweet flavor, but if it's all by itself, it's almost unpleasant.
Okay. So it is kind of like in order to deal with that high alcohol flavor, you need some complexity in your malt.
You need some buddies up there to help.
Yeah, it's like your high energy friend who you couldn't stand if you were hanging out by yourself. But if you have other friends there that are fun.
Right.
Okay.
It diffuses.
They make it worth it.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, well, can we get an example grain bill? I mean, because are we talking crystals? Let's get an example.
I kind of read one off here, but I'll read it back again.
Okay.
And we're going to do it extract. All you all grain brewers, you know how to convert this. This is easy.
Okay.
Let's just go 9 pounds of ultralight. If you really want to kick it up, add another pound of DME, half pound of Crystal 120, half pound of Crystal 40, half pound of Cara Munich, 2 ounces of black roasted barley.
That would be your steeping you're talking about, because this is an extract.
This would be extract steeping, or you throw it in the mash for all you all grain brewers.
Okay. Why ultralight? I'm surprised that you say ultralight.
Ultralight is 2-row.
Okay.
That's why I like it. I hate all these malts that have other things added. And nowadays, extract's getting a lot better.
Okay.
Where it's usually just a 2-row, as opposed to having some crystal added in there. Dark and amber scare me, because who knows what made those colors.
Okay.
That could be food coloring, that could be a grain, which is great, but do you want always that same grain to be in every one of your beers that's an amber color?
Yeah, that's interesting.
So, if you're trying to make a red ale versus an amber, those are two different colors. I'm colorblind, but I've been told those are very different.
Yeah. I had it come through, what about for mini mashers? And these are the guys who, they do know how to extract and probably can't convert to all grain. How would you do that as a mini mash?
The same thing. Mini mash is taking your extract, taking that down a little bit, which you'll see in the recipes I gave for you and your brother.
Cool.
So I'll take your average, 9 pounds, let's do 8 pounds, or even 7. If you're going to do 7, you probably want more 4 to 5 pounds of 2-row.
Okay.
If you're going to do 8, you want 2 to 3 pounds of 2-row.
Okay. So it's just a ratio of dropping the extract and adding grain to make up for it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now, I'm adding a lot more grain than you really need.
Right.
If you were going to do 1-to-1 when it comes to all grain.
Yeah.
But we're going to count on inefficiencies in the style of mashing you're doing, the equipment that you're using, the time you're going to run it through.
Yeah.
And I'd rather see you come out with a higher gravity anyway.
Sure. And when I did the Mini Mash show a while back, I was just a big fan of it at the time because it was a nice intermediate step to all grain. And this kind of beer seems to me the perfect example of why you'd want to do mini mash if you're an extract brewer, because you want to add complexity to that malt. So you have your 2-row in your extract, but you're able to add whatever kind of grains we would add in an all-grain brew, sort of mini mash, right? Because you can really you can pull more color, you can pull more flavor, you can pull roast, you can pull whatever you want out of the mini mash part of it.
Absolutely. And you can, really the mini mash, the key to it is you have enzyme production that you can use things that need enzymes to convert over. Anything flaked, for the most part, is really where you're going to get your best benefit. Did you get some of this?
I did. Let me get some of this first. Which one you got there?
We have the Sierra Nevada Celebration, which is...
Is that what you want too, Doc? There's a little... No. Okay, now you're doing the Celebration. Sorry, I'm trying to get my last bit of the Jubal Ale.
Which is another beautiful winter warmer.
Yeah, a great one there.
And that one, I believe, it has spices to it, where Celebration really doesn't have any spices to it.
Now, Celebration isn't really a big beer, is it?
It's 7.5, I believe.
That's nothing.
It doesn't taste like it.
6.8.
6.8. It doesn't drink like a big beer at all.
Not
it drinks
all.
a lot like a Sierra Nevada.
Very much like a Sierra Nevada.
Yeah. Now, that's one that you can also find all over the country, of course, because Sierra Nevada's everywhere, and their winter beer is the Celebration Ale. I'd actually drink a Celebration over a Pale any day. It's a great, as far as Sierra Nevada goes, I love their Celebration's a good one. Different kind of thing. What do you think about the grain bill in that one, if you could estimate, just because I think people could get a good example about that?
I'm going to say this is less grains than we just read off, and a little bit lower in gravity.
Okay.
So maybe, let's say, 8 pounds of extract, and maybe a pound of crystals in there.
Okay.
Doc?
I was saying they probably start with their pale ale recipe.
Yeah.
And just bump that up quite a bit.
Okay.
And then a little more crystal.
So not a real complex grain bill there for that one.
No, I don't think it's super complex, but I think they do a beautiful job of execution.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Nice one.
Someone wants you to post your favorite winter brew recipes. Probably from you and Doc, I'm imagining.
No, and you.
My favorite winter brew recipes?
Yes.
So name that one beer you made in the winter.
Yeah, exactly. I'll tell you, it was a B3 kit. And I added that packet of spice that came in the kit. And it came out pretty good.
I just wanted to make sure you know that they've been asking for your favorite one, too.
No, that's just silly. All right. I will put mine up there as well. Chris.
I'll try to remember my login. I posted, I think, one of the first posts to your forum.
Did you really?
Yeah, John emailed me.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, you gotta write something.
Yeah. You're like, hey, way to go on the site thing.
For both of you seeing this, Justin and John.
Yeah. Here's a question that came through earlier. How are American winter beers different than, say, European Union winter beers like Samuel Smith?
Well, Americans are better.
As Daniela said in Vigorously, this was a God-created country, whereas over there it's something different.
I did never say that.
Oh, that's what I heard.
I'd say it differs in the way that our beers differ in normal circumstances. We tend to go, I'd say, a little bit overboard in most things we do.
Yeah.
And we go for the extremes. And
Hummer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Exactly. Versus the Peugeot. But we tend to go more for that extreme, except for, a beer like Santa Claus, which is a, believe it or not, Swiss-made beer.
Oh, really?
Which is one of the highest mass-produced alcohol beers out there.
Okay.
You hate that one, too.
I just think it's so hyped up for the flavor profile. Of course, I've never had it there, though.
What's the full name of it? It's
Sammy Claus?
Sammy Claus. Okay.
Yeah.
What's the brewery?
I can't remember.
It's a German one, and it's a brown bottle, silver label.
Okay.
And it's touted as the strongest
production.
What is the beer called? I'm going to look it up.
But it's
Sammy Claus.
Sammy Claus. But it's out of Switzerland, I thought, not Germany.
Yeah.
And do you like it, Doc?
I thought it was pretty good. I didn't think it was great. I'm with Chris. He said the hype.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't back it up. So.
Okay.
I mean, the hype rarely does, though.
Yeah, that's true.
But that's why I bought it, because of the label.
Think about how they talk about this show. They're like,
no hype, all character.
Yeah. They're giving away a conical. You got to listen. I really have to listen to all of that just to get a conical? I don't know what's cheaper.
Oh, is that painful?
Yeah.
I gotta say, it appears that we Germans are quite pragmatic when it comes to winter beers, because I've not been too much aware of those specialty beers actually in Germany. So the question of what is better, it applies to Germany, that the American versions definitely are better. It would probably not apply to Belgium or other countries though, because probably the Belgian spice beers are pretty good too, right?
Yeah. And by the way, someone wanted us to talk about Belgian spiced beers, but that's a whole other... When we talk about spiced beers for holiday business, that's very much different than Belgian spiced beers, because it's pretty much a Belgian theme to add spices to the beer. And I'll tell you what, we will do a show on Belgian spiced beers, so I'm going to hold off on that, because that's really a whole other thing. And Doc's going to need to be able to talk for that one, because he's good at the Belgian spiced beers too. And of course, so is guys like Vinny from Russian River. And I've been talking to James, who's the brewer at Moylan's. And he's going to make for an interesting guest. I think we're going to get him in here in December, because he just did, and don't quote me on any of this because we were drinking when we talked about it, but I think it's what he said he had just did was his first Saison, or his first Belgian style beer. And I thought it'd be great to get a professional brewer in here to talk about him doing his first professional Belgian-style beer.
Sure, the research.
Exactly, because I think we can really relate to that as homebrewers, too, and gain a lot of insight about how he figured out how to make his Belgian as we figure out how to make ours.
Well, and let's face it, I mean, hopefully he's doing more research than most of us do.
Yeah,
I mean,
which is
we make a bad one, and it pisses off our family and friends,
that's
close
right.
friends.
He makes a bad one, he's in trouble.
Brandon Moylan's going to be calling him up going, what the hell, dude?
Yeah. Daniela.
I found the Semi-Klaus beer online. It's actually a very neat story. It's being brewed once a year. It's been lagered for 10 months. It's been every year they brew it for the St. Nicholas Day, what we call it in Europe.
Okay.
6th of December is when St. Nicholas comes.
Okay.
And the Swiss brewer is called Brauerei Hürlimann from Zurich.
Brauerei Hürlimann.
Hello, Hürlimann.
It's a very neat story. I'm going to post the brewery in the chat room.
Okay, sounds good. Did we actually answer the how Americans are different?
Not at all.
I didn't
We avoided
think so.
it nicely, though.
That's good. We'll just keep moving.
Skirted right around that.
Nobody knows. Well, they're English style, and American are American style. There you go. A note from the chat room.
It's hard. We all drink a lot that time of year, too, so.
That's right. Who knows what's what. Ask us next year. We don't remember what we had. Here's just a note from the chat room that came through. It's a good piece of advice. They want you to know it's the perfect time to get an all-grain burner, because the Sports Authority, which is a chain, so they're all over, has burners right now with a pot for $29.99.
Well, thanks, everybody.
Yeah. Or you can go to B3 and...
Thanks for supporting your local home. No, actually... I actually do agree. Just when you're buying your outdoor burner, just do yourself a favor, and I don't care where you get it. If anyone's heard me on the show before, they know that I will send you to my competitors.
Sure.
I will allow you to buy anywhere. That's not the point. Just know what you're getting into. If you're paying $29 for a burner and a kettle, just make sure like that burner is strong enough to like say support your own weight, let alone what it needs to.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times those cheap welds and whatnot can, I mean, you would hate to see that happen if someone's beer breaks, falls over during the boiling process. Or
when Justin almost burned down the patio.
Well, that was going to be my advice. Make sure it has an airflow adjustment, and if it doesn't, don't stuff newspaper in there to restrict the airflow. I mean, I don't know why anybody would do that, but if you would, don't.
And remember, that burner was designed to cook a turkey.
Yeah, that's right. So, it could easily cook you.
Yeah. I do agree, though. It's a great time of year to find a good deal, because not only sports, I saw it at Fry's Electronics today. You see them at
Which part is electronic?
Have you been to Fry's? It doesn't
I know.
matter.
Isn't that weird? Fry's Electronics is Fry's everything.
Yeah.
I love Fry's.
Fry's, bunch of useless geeky stuff. That's why I'm there every day.
Exactly. It's a fun place to go. And
saw a guy with a mohawk there once.
Leave your credit card at home.
I went there before coming here tonight. So.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
I had to go yesterday. Our whole internet kind of went on the fritz. We had to change the router.
Should have called Al Gore. Could have handled it.
He could have done that for us.
He invented that stuff.
I guess I should. Oh, that's right. He did invent the internet. Amazing how that works.
Just to plug somebody else, Target has the same pots too for $29.99.
Well, in general, I think it's a good time of year to go out looking for your turkey fryer because everyone's got it.
Because hey, wait, it's turkey time.
That's right. It's holiday turkey time. Okay, we're going to take a break here soon. I do want to cover, because I think we went over it just real quickly, so I want to reiterate. The question came through specifically, what types of yeast we could be using with our winter warmer. So let's cover that.
I think it's almost universal in terms of what you could use.
Okay.
There's just some that are going to be stranger to use than others.
Yeah.
I wouldn't use the Irish strain for the most part. It just doesn't really, that sour kind of character doesn't really go with this. I wouldn't normally use a Belgian unless I'm really trying to make a unique strain.
Yeah.
I wouldn't use most lagers unless I really wanted that huge malt character and wanted to age for a long time.
Which you wouldn't be ready for Christmas.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if you're doing a Christmas, stick to what you know.
So we can go straight for the Cal Ale and it's going to be just fine?
I would.
Or the English? What about the English compared to
I
the
like
Cal?
the English, especially the gentleman who was saying he's got problems with the high alcohol characters.
Okay.
English you can ferment colder if you want to really help keep those flavors aside. That one can go down to 60, 62, no problem.
And
okay.
Even the 1056 or the 001, it'll tolerate a lot of alcohol.
Okay.
Yeah.
About a 9% maybe.
Yeah, I mean, you talk to yeast experts, Clayton Cohn being a yeast expert, he'll tell you any strain of yeast for the most part will probably be able to go to 12% alcohol.
Okay.
It's all the environment you put it at. Now, most beer strains, you'd need to raise the temp up huge amounts and add a lot of free amino nitrogen towards the end of it to get it there. But I mean, so let's not talk 12, let's talk 8, 7, and those will handle it usually pretty well.
Okay.
Lots of it healthy. Those are the two key things.
Okay, so a nice big pitch and a healthy pitch is what you want to do. Okay, that sounds good. So there you go. I did want to mention, the using different yeasts in beers that you might not expect it. I was at a bar the other day and tried a beer from New Belgium, and it was a porter that had a Belgian yeast in it. So he just brewed a standard porter. You really could tell it was a standard type of a porter, but he used Belgian yeast in it. Have you had this beer, Doc, or you just know what I'm talking about?
I read about it. Yeah.
Which one is that?
I can't remember the name of it.
Is it a series of numbers, or is it like...
It might be, yeah.
1886.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might have been one of those... I had 8 of the Drake's Jolly Roger. It was a Jolly Roger night at the Toronado where they were giving us tastes of the past 6 years leading up to the unveiling of this year's Jolly Roger. Yep. And their Jolly Roger from Drake's Brewing Company, they actually change every year. So one year it might be an Imperial IPA. The next year it's a Scotch Ale. So they really just, it just keeps the name, changes. So anyway, they're all big though. And they were all fantastic. Actually,
were they all jolly?
Really great. They made us all jolly. And then when I finished all those is when I went for the New Belgium.
So you really had some taste buds just like perking up, right?
So when I tell you how fantastic the New Belgium was, take it with a grain of salt.
Could have been cardboard and water.
Yourself. Yeah. But I definitely at least picked up that it was a pretty standard porter, but with the sourness of a Belgian yeast in there, and it wasn't bad.
It wasn't Love, was it?
No. I wish I could remember. I'm sorry.
1554.
Look on their site. It may have been the 1554. Although I think the 1554. I think it was called Belgian Porter.
Oh,
I actually think it was just called their Belgian Porter.
And so you somehow derived that it was a porter recipe?
Yes, I somehow derived that it was actually a porter. But it was actually really nice, and you really got the kind of sourness out of it. And I think it's a good example of putting sort of any yeast in any beer and figuring out what happens. Then
it's all a balancing act.
Yeah,
well, even Mosher in his book says about brewing a Hefeweizen and using a Belgian on it.
Right. Great.
Really weird.
That is weird, but it seems to me actually sounds kind of logical. You can just give it a try. We've got Brian from HCA Industries on the line with us. H2, how are you, my brother?
Man, I'm good, buddy. How are you doing?
We're doing great. Just drinking some winter warmers and trying to talk about them at the same time.
Well, I had to call Doc and give him some love because he's got emphysema tonight.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I feel fine. I just can't talk.
Man, I hate that. I'm a sales guy, man. Whenever I can't talk, it sucks.
Oh, it's frustrating as hell. It's like I gotta like hold back and use my voice only when I know I can say something.
That's right. So stop talking to him, Brian. You're ruining.
I'm sorry. I just want to give the guy a little love. Hey, I was talking to Danielle. I guess we're going to come down for the 17th for the giveaway show.
Okay, that's fantastic. As you all know, Brian actually owns and runs HCA Industries, the other generous company that donated a conical for you. So that's great. So you're going to be here for the actual giveaway.
It looks very good, and then Danielle, we cook steaks after that, and we'll all celebrate a little bit of it.
All right.
You're going to drive down?
So tell Chris while he's there that he's there too, and we'll have a good time.
Awesome.
That sounds good. Thanks, Brian. That's cool. I'm glad you're going to make it for that.
Brian, are you going to drive down?
No. I just, you know what? I never read in the right seat of my H2, so you're going to drive me around a little bit, Doc.
There you go.
I was thinking if we had two H2s parked out front, that would be really cool.
Well, we could. You know what? That wouldn't be a bad idea. Hey, are we going to be able to brew, Doc? Do you think we can do that?
Email me. Let's work it out.
Okay. All right. Because I got to get Chris to get me a quote on that 2100 still.
All right. Cool. So we'll see you on the 17th. That sounds good. All right. We'll see you on the 17th, brother.
All right, guys. And hey, I just want one more thing about the chat room. Everyone's been fantastic, and
they're all real nice today.
It's a pleasure to see what it can be.
That's right.
It's like a student giving the teacher an apple.
I just kicked out the first person ever.
Did you really?
Yeah.
But like for a reason or just because you wanted to?
Well, I needed to.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Who'd you kick out?
Crotch Rat.
Yeah, he deserves it.
But that sucker came right back.
Oh, just as somebody else?
No.
I get for giving away chicken feet at Chris.
Halloween, yeah.
Well, if he didn't do something this week to deserve it, you could just chalk it up as something he did in the past.
No, but it's working smoothly, I'm telling you.
Okay, good.
It's sweet in there. Everyone, I think last week was really an abnormal situation, and everyone's been fantastic, and it's just what it should be.
That's right. It's exactly what it should be. Everyone should be kind and nice, and then also say fuck every now and then.
You wouldn't believe that we were talking about Manolo Blahnik's shoes in the chat room earlier on.
Talking about what?
I don't even know. Is that like
stilettos?
Is that a designer?
Yeah, that's a designer.
I wouldn't believe it, and I think you guys are a bunch of pussies.
A really tall, spiky one.
In fact, we're canceling the chat room.
Yeah, exactly. I think that might piss our sponsors off more than you guys being vulgar. All right? I don't want to be aligned with that sort of thing.
We love everyone out there, so don't worry about that.
Cool, Brian. So we'll see you in December.
Yeah, sounds great, man. I'm looking forward to it. And Chris, if you're not at the show, then I'll say hi.
Oh, I'm going to be here.
Okay.
All right. Take care,
I'll drive
Brian.
my H2 too.
All right. Well, you know what? I'll bring some beer that I'm brewing right now. I'm bringing some Jamil 80 shilling Scottish ale. So
perfect.
Well, Brian, there's a Hummer dealer about a mile away from here.
Borrow one.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. We can do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna put H2 all over my little tiny Toyota pickup truck and pretend I'm with the big boys.
There's a Prius dealer closer than the Hummer dealer, if that interests you.
Yeah, you know what? I can't handle those small gas prices, man.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Anything under $100 just isn't worth it.
I'm finally down to 50 here in Texas, so it's not a bad deal.
All right. All right, brother.
All right, guys. Take care. Thank you.
Take care.
All right.
There you go. Cool. So they're going to come in. We're going to do a big giveaway show on December 17th. Chris, you're going to be here for that, I hope.
I think so, yeah.
I might go in and pull Olin's ear to come and hang out with us, too. I think that'd be fun. Okay, here's what we got to do. Take another break. When we come back, and I mean it this time, we are going to register our second and final registrant of the day to win a conical from Beer, and More Beer, courtesy of morebeer.com and HCAIND.com. Check them out. When we come back, we're going to get your phones ready because we're doing it over the phone, all right? It's the Brewcast. Hang in there.
You're listening to the Brewcasters. The Brewcasters on the Brewing Network.
Somewhere in Banderma, Turkey.
Damn, Abacas stream. Haha, that Bob.
Quebec, what you do?
Oh, hello, Diogo. I am in Brewing Network chat room trying to win conical fermenter.
Brewing Network? Aren't that American pigs we hack into Did you say conical fermenter?
Yes. 12-gallon stainless steel from Beer and More Beer. Oh, and second one from HCA Industries.
How you win?
4 ways to win. Listen to live show, participate in chat, listen to archive, and submit name of Sunday live show. Last day to qualify is December 10th.
Why you don't just hack homepage again?
Our website's still broken from last reprisal. Now I just win conical and call it even.
Good idea.
The Brewing Network Conical Christmas Giveaway, sponsored by morebeer.com and HCAIND.com. Don't miss your chance to qualify to win, only from the Brewing Network.
Well, beer, we've had some great times. When I was 17, I drank some very good beer. I drank some very good beer I purchased with a thing I need. My name was Brian McGee. I stayed up listening to Queen when I was 17.
Fix that door. You better get out of my general store. You sold me one, you can sell me one more. I ain't gonna sell you no beer no more. Too drunk to think about it, might as well try. On a pretty lady, so they're giving me the eye. But I told you once, I told you twice. Drinking and driving is a bad man's vice. Left, left, right. And a right, right, left. You can go out for a while, but don't be late. We're going driving on the interstate. You can take my price and close the gate. Right. Too drunk to think about it, might as well try. There's a million pretty ladies and they're giving me the eye. Boys and boys, men up and men, know what you dicks, don't do it again. Gonna do it again. Gonna do it again. You're on the interstate and you're going slow. I missed my turn. Which way do I go? Step out of the car. You're going to jail. No! Too drunk to think about it. Might as well try. Cocaine Chardonnay 4th of July. Walk the line, heel to toe. Tilt your head back and touch your nose. What? Walk the line, heel to toe. Tilt your head back and touch your nose. What? Walk the line, heel to toe. Tilt your head back and touch your nose. Recite backwards the alphabet. Up yours, pig. You do that shit. Walk a line, heel to toe. Tilt my head back and I touch my nose. Walk a line, heel to toe. Better get far and go to go. Tilt my head back and I touch my nose. Walk in line, heel to toe. Tilt my head back and I touch my nose. Put your hand on your hips, follow the pen. I can't hear you, man. Say it again. Put your hand on your hips and follow the pen. I fucked your sister in the back of my van. Put your hand on your hips and follow the light. Sir, just wanna go home tonight. Cocaine Chardonnay 4th of July. I told you once, I told you twice. Drinking and driving is a bad man's vice. Told you once, told you twice. Drinking and driving is a black man's fight.
And now, back to the Brewcasters.
All right, kids. Give away another registration to win a conical here. We're also still finishing up our winter warmers ourselves. Still going. What do we got there? The Anchor? The Anchor Christmas? All right. We can do that. Okay. Everybody got your telephones ready?
Dial now.
Number 15, caller number 15, 888-401-BEER. Go ahead, the phone lines are open. 888-401-BEER. Caller number 15 is going to enter to win. And as I said earlier, we're just trying to make things, trying to spruce it up, have several different ways to qualify, some arbitrary, some through trivia, some random like this. So
this one's easy.
This one's easy. All you got to be, you just got to dial 888-401-BEER, and caller number 15 is going to be registered to win.
Where's my cell phone?
For the BN's Conical Christmas, courtesy of Beer, Beer, and More Beer and HCA Industries. If you're in the studio, you're not allowed to call and be caller number 15.
Trying to trick me here in the chat room. Lufa is logged on with 7 different names.
Oh, is that right?
Ban them all.
888-401-BEER. You got to call the landline to do this.
So is it Lufa, Flufa, Lufa?
Galufa.
Yeah.
It doesn't have much thought process in it.
Right. Now, so this one's the Anchor Christmas, right?
Yep.
Now, this one's a classic for Anchor, and a great brewery to begin with, obviously, but this one they've been doing for a while, and it's just a good beer.
This is a beer that will be beautiful around February, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah? Just to hold on to it for a little bit?
Yeah, those spices will start melding in a little more, and...
Yeah, it's a big beer with spices, too.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite beers to give away for Christmas.
Okay.
Because it's a beautiful beer that... Like that, hopefully they won't drink it for a month or two, and it melds in, and it's high alcohol and spicy.
Yeah.
Goes down real easy, though.
Tastes so good on the lips.
All right, fellas. 888-401-BEER is the number. We're looking for caller number 15, and we're just wrapping up our discussion on the big beers. Now...
He's not looking for a 15-year-old.
Not looking for a 15-year-old. That'd be wrong.
That's a different show.
Yeah, and a different continent, by the way. If we were doing that, wouldn't be here.
NAMBLA.
Now, Doc's Brothers, which is actually a San Francisco-based organization.
How do you know that?
Believe it or not, I've listened to my fair share of talk radio. You talk about NAMBLA. Wow. All right. Doc's Brothers got an open tap in his bar that you work at, right? You guys rotate beers over there?
Rotate them out every 6 months. We have to have the standard keepers, but we range in anything from Anchor Steam as our dark untapped to good old Coors Light. The light stuff.
Okay.
Of the rotators, what's been one of the more popular ones so we can help you find another? 2 most populars, we've got an American Hefeweizen.
Okay.
And also... Probably the most popular on there it's a toss-up between the Fat Tire from New Belgium and the Pale Ale from Stone Brewing.
What company makes that Hefeweizen that's popular?
That is the Widmer Brothers out of Oregon.
Okay.
So what are your other 5 then?
The other one I have on there is Sammy, and we just got rid of Gordon. One of the Gordon Biersch. Gordon Biersch, they're blonde.
Very nice.
Good beer.
So he does have some input on what he can put on a couple of the taps.
If I were to judge by what you have on tap and what does well, they're quality beers, but they're also standards.
Standards, yeah.
So I'm thinking that the Sierra Celebration is going to do well in the same establishment.
That would do excellent.
Does the Anchor Christmas go on tap, or do they only bottle that?
I would think they'd probably keg it. I haven't really...
Yeah, I'm not sure if they do or not, but I bet it would do just as well as the Sierra celebration. Actually, if not better, because I think that people could find the celebration elsewhere and might be happy.
But not on tap.
But maybe on tap. It's on tap everywhere here.
My eyes light up
when you see it.
When I see something on tap that I usually can't get on tap.
Right. That's why I think the Anchor would do so well.
One of the considerations when you're putting something on tap, though, is its alcohol percentage. Because you're usually charging the same amount of money. You got that person on the stool sitting there paying per beer. You want to be careful about how big of a beer you put on tap, usually, I would think.
But it's in the part of California we're at, it's people are drinking for taste, they're not drinking for cost.
What?
Oh yeah. It's a new concept.
I've never heard of this.
Very rarely does somebody come in and say, how much does a beer cost?
No, but I'm saying if you get into, some people will serve a pint of, an Imperial IPA, which is just ridiculous. Amount of alcohol in one single pint. I personally don't like that. I'd rather have a half beer if they're on draft of a super high alcohol beer.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have those glasses.
We got a winner.
Can't do it.
We got a caller number 15.
Uh-oh.
We got to cut the conversation here and go right to our registrant of the day, Spitz.
What's going on, Justin?
Hey, not much except that you just registered to win a conical.
You know that.
Yeah, caller number 15. That's good work, man. Congratulations.
Thanks a lot.
Were you caller number?
I think I was also caller 1 through 14.
Did you hear her a bunch of times? Really?
Yeah. Everybody was getting 2 rings and then busy.
Oh, that's weird.
But it's good times.
You had the main line through.
It does work.
All right. Well, now you're registered. Daniela, what does Spitz mean in German? Oh, hang on, let me turn you on.
Horny.
Say that again?
Horny. Spitz equals horny.
Now,
did you know that,
Doc, you say it this time.
That's not how it was translated to me, because there's no way I would have picked a handle that means horny.
How was it translated to you?
It was translated to me that, it's actually Spitzbuben, which would mean like a clever or a crafty bunch of boys.
Horny.
What's
the difference?
Daniela, what would Spitzbuben mean?
He's right. Spitzbuben can refer to a kid who is just being naughty.
I see.
Horny.
In a little cute way.
But like an 8-year-old, not like a 14-year-old.
Yeah, but if
yeah,
I don't remember the difference.
Big difference.
If you call your 29-year-old boyfriend a Spitzbube, then it's a different meaning.
I see. It means he's being a naughty little bastard.
Exactly.
Hey, good for you. That's all right. Good pick, man. All right, Spitz, you are now qualified, my friend. So hang in there.
Thanks.
You're going to have to be around on December 17th, and I'm saying this to you, and I'm saying this to everybody who's qualified. You're going to need to be around on December 17th. And I don't want to hear any bitching about, I got to do this, I got my family, I could give a shit when it comes to giving away 2 free conicals that are going to save you a bunch of cash and give you a sweet piece of equipment for your system. So I'm telling you all, be around on December 17th. I'm giving you plenty of warning.
People are blowing off their corporate Christmas parties, losing their jobs.
Who cares about all that when we're talking stainless steel fermenters here?
I'm with you.
All right, so send Danielle an email, Spitz, and congratulations, brother.
Great. Thanks a lot, Justin.
Cool. Take care.
See.
I mean, what could be more important than being here?
No, I can hear it now. I can't listen live. Bullshit. For one day of the year to win a conical, you're listening live.
And nobody has things on Sunday night. Come on.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You're nursing your hangover.
Yeah. That's right.
So you might as well listen.
Let's just tell everybody who hasn't qualified today or who hasn't qualified yet, we're going to do another qualification round the week after Thanksgiving, right?
Yes.
We're going to qualify another 2 live listeners.
Yeah, what day is that? That's December 3rd. And then we're going to qualify another 2 live listeners on December 10th.
Right.
So 4 more people in the live shows. Plus, we're going to qualify a podcast listener for this week, for the week of December 3rd, and for the week of December 10th. On top of that, if you've sent us in your names for the Name the Show contest, you have a chance to qualify then, because we're going to pick 5, and 5 of you will qualify. So that's you still got chances to qualify to win. Overall, we did the math properly this time, got out a calculator, and discovered that 20 of you will be qualified, which is a good number, and it's a fair amount of people out of all of you.
That's pretty good odds.
Yeah, 20 of you will qualify, and 2 of you, rather, out of the 20 will win a conical. So that's pretty sweet.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't know, what's that, like a 1 in 10? Thank you. That's why we got Doc here. Even when he can't speak, he can still spit out numbers to us, and that's good enough.
I think these winter warmers are helping my voice a little bit.
Yeah, I think so too. Your voice is warming up slightly.
Yeah. He's getting the sexy announcer voice.
Yeah. It's less creepy, but still in trouble. Okay, how about a couple just random questions that I had that came through here. Actually, I guess I just have one left. Someone was asking about a cider earlier, and I hate to leave questions unanswered. So, yeah, and they wanted to know how long to... Actually, they said, how long do I ferment a cider? So it might have been any cider. Totally off topic, but I hate to leave them hanging.
What's the color blue?
Yeah.
I mean, cider is usually a couple weeks.
Okay.
I mean, cider that you don't doctor doesn't have that much sugar to it, so 2 weeks of fermentation and then aging after that. But you can spice a cider up afterwards, or even before you even ferment it. And that can usually, for most people, it's just a couple hours.
Okay, fair enough. And here's what I want to cover before we go, to make sure, back to the spice. If we underspice a beer, we were starting to talk about it.
Yep.
How are we going to fix it? Because we see you guys, your advice was to start low, and every time, up it. But if you start so low and you need to add more, how are we going to correct this process?
Here's where it comes down to. If you keg, you can do anything. If you bottle, it becomes much more difficult.
Okay.
So if you bottle, I would say you'd probably want to start your spicing during fermentation. Counter everything else I just said. But start it then, and then at bottling, you want to taste some of it and add more appropriately at that time. Maybe pull off a pint's worth, split that up a couple times, drop in a little more spices, see what you think, and appropriately dose it up.
Okay.
Now, if you keg, the beauty is, you can add your spices either in the keg or after primary's over, and then add more as you go along to get it to the flavor that you want it.
Okay.
I like to make my own extract with vodka or bourbon. And the spices, and you can actually put a little in.
You can store that, yeah. You can just have it sit,
and you can put in as much as you want, rather than how much spice do I put in, and then you got to filter that back out again.
Well, one of the most interesting things I had heard in terms of dosing beers themselves, Regan, one of my business partners, his nickname is Mad Dog for a reason. He had a kegerator for years, still does, but he had 2 daughters. And when they were in their, late 20s or so, their friends would come over. He'd have just a regular pale ale on tap, but in the door would be blueberry spice, all these different spices. And one of them, I believe, was made up of different, a blend of allspice, nutmeg, cinnamon, all that kind of stuff. And he would just have a dropper and put it into your pint once it's poured. I mean, totally after the fact, completely. So you can add 1 spice, 2 drops, 3 drops to the taste that you want it to be.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I thought that was a good way to handle it. Because personally, I don't like a real spicy beer.
Yeah, me neither.
That way you can give your friend spicy beer and you don't have spicy beer.
You don't have to keep it yourself.
Yeah.
It's a good idea. Different parts in the process. I know we kept mentioning all the different parts you can do it.
Boil.
Okay.
That's the easiest, because it's the safest. You're boiling anything that comes out of it, it's not going to have a problem with bacteria. However, most of it's going to be driven off in steam and whatnot that's coming out of the liquid. Then you can do it at the end of boil, which is a better time to add it. Just let it kind of steep once the boil's done with. Cinnamon sticks, things like that, that's a good time to do that.
Okay.
The next stage would be in a fermenter, and that'd either be before or after the initial fermentation. Or after that, it's usually at packaging. And normally when you do that, you want to steep it in a bourbon or Everclear or something to extract the characters and just add that into there.
Okay. Well, there you have it, folks. Straight from the horse's mouth, or at least Chris's anyway.
Really?
spice beers and big winter warmers, and we're still finishing ours over here.
The last one.
What do we got? What's our last beer that we have to finish? There.
Two Below by New Belgium.
Okay.
Doc's brother has been waiting for this one. I grab it each beer.
Nice. All right, I do have a couple things I got to talk about before we go. I need to announce the last week's beer for the podcast listeners. Only one person got it right. And
it was really tough last week.
It was tough, and we made it tough on purpose because we were getting a lot of comments about, hey, it's first come, first serve. The first person to listen to the podcast is the person who gets to register by answering the mystery beer. So we thought by throwing out a tough one, it would at least defer some of that first come, first serve thing, because you'd have to be good at it, too, and you'd have to know how to go and search for it. Last week's beer was Undercover Investigation Ale. I think there's another full name to it, but it's Lagunitas Undercover Investigation Ale is what it was. And Doc, you remember us you were helping us out at the end there, trying to figure out if that was going to be a good one to talk about.
Yeah, I got most of the clues, but not quite all of them. And you felt it was tough enough.
Yeah.
So let's go for it.
It was a tough one, and we really wanted to make it tough, like I said. I'm trying to find my clues right now so I can give them to you. I should have given it to Chris Graham as a test to see if he could have figured it out before I read the answer to it.
You want to take this call?
Tony actually kind of explained it to me one night what went down.
Finally?
Yeah, Tony, I don't know. Do you know the full story of what happened?
Yeah, I do.
California people do, but the rest probably don't.
Yeah, Tony, one of the owners of Lagunitas, broke it down for me one night. Very interesting story.
What did he tell you? I'll tell you what I know if you tell me what you know.
How they got busted, or
yeah.
Well, they've had for the last 8 to 10 years a famed 420 party.
Yeah,
and I won't admit that I've been part of this party, but I've helped them.
Sure.
Actually, a business partner of mine, friend, has a Tiki Hut bar, and we brought it up there for a couple parties, and they, not us, get a little out of control during these parties. And, 420, if you don't know what that's code for, then you don't need to know the story.
Sure.
But anyway, so this party got more and more famous, and they kind of fell under investigation because of this, and they would have, these Buick cars with tinted windows hanging out in front of the brewery, this, that, and the other. And then during one of the tasting sessions, and it wasn't even like a 420 party or anything like that, they came in and busted them for marijuana and shut them down.
Correct.
Which the owner thought was a blessing because he needed to up the bottling line.
Yeah.
And put in a new bottling line. So while he was doing that, he, decided to make this beer because there's no rule about making beer in this period of time that you can't sell your beer.
Right.
You just can't have it leave the building.
That's right.
So they took the opportunity to make this celebratory beer.
Yeah.
And also put
Upgrade.
in a new bottling line, which was a royal nightmare, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, and they were way over capacity, so they really needed to do it, but didn't want to shut down. But they got shut down. The actual name of the beer was Undercover Investigation Shutdown Ale, is what they made. Just to add to your story, everything that Chris Graham said is what I heard also. The kicker and the funny part of the story is that the undercover agents would go into it went on for several weeks, and they would go into the parties and the tastings and the tours and the whole bit, and they would ask people to sell them Cousin.
Oh, really?
And the funny part was, they asked over and over every time they went.
And people would just give it to them.
Yeah, everyone was like, oh, no, man, you don't have to buy it. Just take it, man. And that was always the answer they got. And they kept trying and trying and trying to get somebody to sell it to them. And every time they just went, it's cool, man. Just have it. So finally, they went ahead with the sting and they busted them on a lesser charge.
Yeah.
On a much lesser
Which is great, because those guys are like that. They'll give away anything.
No one there is dealing. They're not a motley crew or anything else. They make fantastic beer. They're running a business. They were having parties. They're really good at chiming right into pop culture, particularly pop culture in our region. Yeah. Hence the names of some of their beers. Censored, exactly. And they're 420 parties, and it's just funny.
And by the way, they make, no bias here. They make one of the best damn IPAs I've ever had.
It is fantastic.
It is by far my favorite IPA.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I just finished a keg on Thursday.
Ah, nice.
And I'm ready to get another one. Just right back into it.
It was the first IPA I ever liked. And it's stuck on my top 5 list for a long, long time. And actually, it still makes it in there every now and then. Yeah. I drank the shit out of it, I think is why I don't think it's one of my favorites anymore, is I drank so much of it. Our clues were, where you sleep. And the answer to that clue was undercovers. Okay. The second one was Sherlock Holmes, which was to lead you to investigation. The third one was a bitter reaction. A bitter reaction. The beer is a bitter style beer, and it's actually all of the promotions for the beer say that it's a bitter reaction to them being shut down by the police. What else did we have?
Little Rascals.
Think of a young BN, and that is because they were a guest of, I think, our second show that we ever did. I think Lagunitas was our guest. First or second, yeah. And then the last one was Our Gang. Was the clue, which was leading you to the Little Rascals, this is a tough clue, which was the little pit bull that looks exactly like the little Amstaff on the Lagunitas.
Exactly. If you know the answer, it seems easy.
Yeah, but it was really tough.
It was a tough one.
Little Petey.
But somebody got it. And good for him. And I'll tell you, it came in days later, so it wasn't a first come, first serve type of thing. And yeah, there you go. Do I have a caller on the phone?
No, I don't think so. Let me tell you that our qualifier Spitzbuben from just on the phone, he just slammed 1 liter of Spaten Oktoberfest in order to celebrate that he's qualified now for the Conical Christmas.
As he should.
Happy Monday.
It's a reason to celebrate. Caller, are you there?
Yeah.
I thought I had a caller. Is this my brother?
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, how about that one word and I knew it was my brother.
See that?
What's happening, Bug?
Oh, not a whole lot.
You getting ready to brew some beer there?
Yeah, definitely.
I got recipes right in front of me. I got to email them to you, and we're going to brew up some beer while I'm on the East Coast there. So, what's happening?
Oh, not much. Just threw the old turkey in the brine and everything, doing a little cooking for Thanksgiving. So.
Okay. Nice. What'd you use for the turkey? A beer, I hope?
I did. Originally, I wasn't going to. The brine, though?
Yeah.
I wasn't going to use beer, but there's a lot of hops in it. I just used hop pellets.
Really?
Yeah.
No beer for bitterness in your brine, huh?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I wasn't crazy about the flavor at the end when I just tasted it before I put the turkey in, so I did end up adding some beer in there. So.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah. Don't leave out the beer.
Wow, we got nervous.
I always knew there was salt and sugar in brine. I'd never heard of hoppiness.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't nervous about the flavor. I was just nervous about the lack of beer.
I really thought you were going to taste this with the turkey inside of it. So
yeah,
that'd be fun. Salmonella party,
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Anything else?
No, I had a question, but I can't remember what it was now because I was sitting there listening to your conversation for 20 minutes, I think.
Because we blab on about nothing. You gotta forgive my brother. He's like me, and we spent a lot of years of our lives on The Cousin. And every now and then, we just have no idea what we were thinking about 2 seconds ago. lot of years on The Cousin does not do a body good. Let this be a lesson to you.
Yeah, great. Capture the 30-something market.
Yeah.
I know. I wanted to ask about mulled
wine?
Alcohol.
Sorry, say again?
Mulled.
So steeping spices.
Is that what it is? Because somebody at work made a mulled wine.
Mulled wine is usually taking a wine, heating it up, and adding in a spice pack, and serving it warm.
You do serve it warm?
Yeah, generally you do, because, I grew up in the East Coast, too, so on those nice, frosty winter days, it's beautiful, especially, they do it a lot, at least when I was a kid, Christmas shopping. So you'd go into this place, and they would serve you this, nice, hot, spiced alcohol, and Dad's bound to spend a lot more than he was going to.
Absolutely. That can't even be legal.
It shouldn't be. It probably isn't now, but it was when I was 8.
That's a great idea.
I'm not going to say certain stores in New York. No, cider.
Mead's a really good one.
Yeah. Okay, you can do mead too.
I've never had a warm beer that way, because that'd be kind of weird, but wines, meads, ciders are your three most popular. And usually it's just a white wine. I couldn't imagine a red wine warmed up like that.
Yeah.
See, it was a red wine, and it was horrible.
Yeah, well, that's probably why.
And that's why I was wondering about it.
Yeah, but usually it's apple cider. That's probably the most popular, and then white wine after that.
Okay. That's just your basic kind of a warm, spiced cider type of drink.
It's a beautiful thing for cider, and a lot of times it's not even like an apple cider. It's just apple juice. Well, ciders. I mean, cider's a weird definition because sometimes it's fermented, sometimes it isn't.
Yeah.
And they'll just throw vodka, Everclear, something like that in there as
Fantastic,
well.
yeah. The more they have to sell, the more Everclear.
Well, yeah, yeah.
You know?
One guy comes in that day, he gets a whole bottle's worth. I
mean, yeah, exactly. Yeah, like, it depends on how big his wallet is.
I always wondered how those piano stores stayed in business.
So do I. There's never anybody in the piano store.
Except for the guy playing it.
Yeah.
Walnut Creek has like 4 or 5 of them. I'm like, how do they do this?
And nobody ever goes in there. Yeah. It's the cider.
It's the cider.
That's exactly what it is. That's a great... I could do a whole show about these piano stores, Chris. I'm glad you are with me on that. I thought that maybe I was the only one who found it strange. Have you ever seen anybody in a piano store?
Only fake people.
Fake people?
Yeah.
And the guy playing the piano, and the salesman.
I'm not even so sure I remember seeing salespeople. It's always like a stuffed guy who looks like Mozart or something like that.
Yeah!
Sitting in the window.
And they're all over the place.
And the keys are all moving. I'm like, you don't even need to know how to play to use that thing.
You know what they are? They're money laundering facilities.
That's probably it.
Right?
Yeah, they got the guys in the back.
That's right, because it's low-key. Who thinks that a piano... it's high class, right? They're not doing anything
we just took down like
there.
half of the mob right there.
Yeah.
They're coming after us now.
Yeah, you guys are fucked.
Yeah, they can't find Pacheco. There's no mob in Pacheco.
There will be now.
Drive-by happens.
All right, Bug. Well, I'm looking forward to dinner there, and I'm going to bring some beer with me, too.
All right. Yeah, I just tasted mine, actually.
How is it ready to go?
I think so, yeah.
I got a question for you, actually.
Yeah, go ahead.
You have access to bulk malt extracts in liquid form? Or are they cans where you are?
Cans. It's the cans.
Okay, I'll rewrite the recipes then.
Is that bad, or is that just different?
Not necessarily. Nowadays, a lot of distribution's a lot faster than it was 10 years ago.
I see. You got to start ordering from B3, Bug.
It's too late now for your...
Well, for this time, we're going to have to go for it, but in the future, I mean, they ship free.
Free, huh?
Yeah.
Even the big stuff?
Well, what is it? Like, you got to purchase a certain amount, right?
$59 at a time.
Oh, that's nothing.
Yeah, you order 2 kits, 3 kits, you're right there.
I will put the legal disclaimer that certain things don't apply, but for the most part, 90% of our things qualify for free shipping.
And are ingredients part of that?
Yes, up to the bulk ingredients. Nice. So if you're buying an ingredient kit or 2 or like 9 pounds of malt extract, no problem. But if you're buying 55 pounds sacks of grains...
Oh, yeah.
They're way cheaper per pound, but you pay shipping.
Okay. Then you're shipping a pallet across.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. All right, cool, Bug. I look forward to it.
All right, then, man.
Thanks, dude.
Bye.
There you go. Going to my nephew's christening, too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
They're going to let you dunk the kid?
Whole thing. I don't know. I think I'm the godfather, so does that mean I have to...
Is the church going to catch on fire when you walk in?
Well, check this out.
You're going to be shaky them oil?
So my nephew's name is Justin as well. Right?
Oh, boy.
It's Justin Waters Crosley. But... Justin isn't a Christian name. Apparently, it's an evil name. I don't know.
Of course it is.
No, it's not.
It is not.
She says that, of course.
Your name is not in the Bible, so it's not a Christian name.
That's what I just said.
Yeah.
What, do you got to reiterate that I'm a sinner or something?
Well, just making sure everybody knows.
Yeah. The devil.
No, it's not. So they actually, in the baptism paperwork, had to change the name. So I'm not even baptizing my namesake.
Well, what is it?
He changed it to Anthony, which is his name. It's my brother's name. Oh. Anthony is apparently a Christian name, and Justin's not. How come one sibling got a Christian name, and the other one is like the devil's child?
He's probably the good one, too, right?
Yeah.
yeah. That's why I live in California, and he doesn't.
That's right. I mean, answer me all that.
He's older, right?
I'm looking forward to it. He is always 2 years older than I am.
They like him more.
You weren't wanted.
I always suspected that. And now I know.
My kids.
You were the mistake.
So I kicked Crotch out of the chat, and now he's not coming back. I think I did something that he can't come back.
Caller, you're on the air.
First of all, you being being a godfather is disturbing.
Yeah, I know. I like taking Bub's calls at the end of the show compared to the beginning of the show. And it's not that he's sober at the beginning. It's just that he's like
drunk,
shitty at the end. He slows down. If you were to play them back to back, maybe I'll do that. I'll cut them out for next week and play them back to back, and you're a lot slower at the end.
Just play them simultaneously.
Really?
Anyway,
hey,
yeah.
I got home improvement tips. We missed them last week, I think.
Yeah.
First of all, number one.
Is this a new part of our show?
I've been doing it like every time I called in.
Oh, I never listen.
For like the last
doing this
5
whole basement.
weeks.
He knows not how to do it.
Okay, go ahead. Home improvement tips. Go on.
All right. Number one, when carpeting stairs by yourself, first of all, hire it out because these people, it's stupid.
Okay.
But be very careful. Don't do it drunk because if you don't have it stapled down right, that carpet slides down really quick if you're trying to like walk on to get more staples.
Yeah.
That hurts. That hurts really bad.
All right. So maybe we could wear a helmet if you are doing it.
Can we see some pictures of you afterwards on that tip?
Yeah.
Well, perhaps, actually. And second of all, now, I had some extra insulation laying around, so I decided I was going to put some insulation up. And, you know, when I'm watching your show, I'm not wearing pants.
Let's get that out right now, okay?
Is there a reason?
I mean, I'm either on
pants?
the can or, you know, whatever.
Yeah, whatever the reason.
So, how are you watching the show?
With no pants.
What are you watching?
Okay.
All right, he's on the can with his laptop.
Go for my verbal faux pas. I hope that makes you feel better.
Okay, so no pants. All right, go on.
So,
and fiberglass.
Even though I'm wearing, like, gloves and whatnot.
Yeah.
Do not watch Christina Aguilera videos afterwards because those fibers go. I mean, even after you take off the gloves, not good. Very bad.
Ouch!
Wow. Well, you get the itchy, prickly stuff all over.
Yeah.
Oh, you can say prick on the air. I can't. I get booted.
I said prickly.
Oh yeah, you just couching it in semantics.
Yes.
In ease.
I bet your ass itches, too.
Very ouch.
Very
Cortisone does not help.
All right.
Anal ease, however.
All right. Is that all? Is that all, Bub?
Ban him.
That one last guy who's holding on for possibly information.
Yeah.
Just dropped off.
Yeah.
With the anal ease comment.
Okay. Thank you, Bob.
Bye.
I'm telling you, just use the silence function.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm too polite. I just got to start dropping people.
I like the Christina Aguilera part.
Me too.
That's pretty funny, actually. Yes,
no, Bob is great.
That is going to burn.
I love him.
Okay. Last announcement. New York. We're going to be there next week. We were talking about a listener party. Due to a lack of availability, listeners are pretty busy with family and things like that, so we're not going to actually make a big formal thing out of it. If you guys are, a couple of you going to be in New York City, I will be posting where we're going to be on Friday night. Friday night is our go-out night. We're going to hit a couple of bars. I know we're going to hit Hop Devil, because I'm really into that one. They got a whole Belgian room. And there's 3 other bars, too, and we're going to bounce between those. So check the forum. I'll put it under Beer Radio, and I'll also put it under Off Topic so that you guys know where we're going. And I'll be telling you what time we're going to be at what places. So if you had read our thread that we're going to be in New York City and we'd love to meet some listeners, we will. It's going to be on Friday night. I will post what the bars are, probably looking around between the 8 and 10 p.m. area, but I will narrow that down for you and give you an exact time so that if you had made plans to go there and meet us, we really do want to shake hands with you and have a beer. So,
but it's gonna be, we can precise, it's gonna be in Manhattan, most likely.
East Village. Actually, Hop Devil's in the East Village.
Okay, well, let's just make that as our meeting point because listeners really want to book their hotel rooms, really want to make sure they know.
Okay, then I would say do it in the Village because the Village has a lot of good bars and we can spend a good amount of time there hanging out and having a nice little party for ourselves, just walking around from bar to bar. So book it near the Village. East Village is where Hop Devil is. If you want to check it out, just go to Hop Devil. Whatever, Google it, you'll find it. And get your hotel around there. So we want to make it that right now? Is that good enough?
Yeah. What time? 7?
I said between 8 and 10, but I'll narrow that down in the forum.
Okay.
Okay, we'll post in the forum exactly where we're going to be and when we're going to be.
We start drinking early, so probably 8.
Yeah. Now, Bug Eater had sent us a winter warmer.
Yes.
That I want us to try, but you got to get it.
Where is it?
It's either in the big cooler out back, which is where I think it is. There's a whole 6-pack of Bug Eater's beers.
In our chest freezer?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I said. The big cooler out back. And it's either there or it's in the regular fridge on the beer shelf on the right side. But all of his beers are labeled. Bug's real good at that.
And what is the winter brew called?
Just bring the whole 6-pack in.
Okay.
We'll find it.
I'll go and run.
Now, we've had Bug Eater's beers before, Doc, and they're always fantastic, actually. I think he sent us one. We told him to improve it. He sent it back, and it came out great. So he gave me these at GABF. They've been properly stored ever since.
Good to hear.
My brewer's code on that. And so let's see. We'll try it real quick.
So you kept them in the sun?
And in the back
of your car?
Yeah, by properly
clear
stored
bottles.
They all think it's the black hole. They send beer here and it just disappears.
It's all still here. It's just in various places because we can't fit it. We got to stuff it places. Especially when I get to brewing again, because then I have to clear all the shit out for my kegs, and it all just gets moved and But it all gets.
What they're saying is we need to drink it on the air.
Yes, that was fast. Well, that's what we're going to do. So Daniela found it. That should be a whole 6-pack of Bug Eater's brews there, and one of them should be a winter warmer. They might have labels individually if you pull them out, or they may just say it on the cap. There you go. So check it out. Bug's real good about doing that.
Barley wine.
And by the way, if you want to send us beer, just send me an email. I'll give you the address to do it. But you do need to label your beers on each individual bottle so that we know which is which.
These are all winter warmers. We have a bourbon vanilla imperial porter.
Wow, that sounds good.
We have a Bug Eater barley wine.
Okay.
Ooh. Another winter warmer. And a blackberry sizer.
Wow.
Which...
There's a porter.
Oh, and a Port Richards ale. And another barley wine.
I think I was supposed to do that sizer on the Mead show. My fault.
Whoops.
Why don't we do that bourbon vanilla? Yeah, you were thinking the same thing, huh? All right, let's do that as our winter warmer, and we'll cheer to that and call a night of it. And Bug Eater, we may finish the rest of that 6-pack tonight.
I'm drunk.
Daniela's hammered and probably booting people from the chat room as we speak.
Indiscriminately.
Only because she can.
Okay, podcasters, remember that your way to register this week is to send in your top 10 list of top 10 reasons that Jamil Zainasheff is sexier than Pamela Anderson. I think it's self-explanatory.
It's an easy task.
Look at them, for Christ's sake.
Yeah. Send them to Conical at thebrewingnetwork.com. That's CONICAL at thebrewingnetwork.com. And we'll choose the best top 10 list as our registrant for the podcast user this week. So even if it takes you 2 weeks to listen to the show, just send in your list because we're not back for 2 weeks. We will be back on Sunday, December 3rd.
And don't forget about the talent competition, too.
That's right. For you live listeners, the way that we're going to register people on our next live show is with a talent show. So you need to put together whatever your talent may be. As long as it's not like whittling, because that doesn't go over well on the air. It's got to be an audio talent, so burping, singing, a musical
describing your whittling
jokes
will work.
Sure, if you're really good at that, then you can do that, and that's how you're going to register that when we come back as well.
Hey, Bug Eater, you can send a lot of beer to my house if you want to.
He makes good stuff, right?
Fantastic.
This is fantastic. I drink this out of the gutter.
So what are we having?
Right in front of you.
Oh, I got it here. Okay.
This is
Chris, what are we
the
having?
bourbon vanilla imperial porter.
Caller, you're on the air. What's happening?
Bug's not there, guys.
What's that?
Bug is not there. He's out of the chat room.
Oh, that's okay. We're drinking his beer anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't need him here. I just needed him to know eventually that we're drinking his beer.
No, he's going to listen to the archive.
He let us
show.
know earlier. Who's this?
Daniela, you're supposed to ask Southern California Surfer to call in, because that guy is messed up, I swear to God.
I forgot all about it.
Ooh, this is good beer.
Yeah.
Wow. What's the problem? What are you supposed to do? Some crazy chatter?
Mm-hmm.
We're not putting crazy chatters on
Southern California Surfer is just, he's like totally drunk.
Is he?
That's always fun.
He's wasted, but I've been like egging him on to call in all night long, and he has yet to call, obviously. And obviously it's easy to get in. I called him my first dial.
Yeah,
surfing.
Hey, our phone's not ringing off the hook, that's for sure. What are we thinking? Drunk of the week?
Drunk dialing.
The surfer guy?
Yeah, I told him right now in the chat, call in.
How is he being polite in the chat?
He's absolutely nice, but drunk.
He is nice, but he's drunk.
Now that's what we
Nobody likes a polite drunk.
He's an English drunk.
All right, have him call in. All right, thanks for the call.
This is Patrick, by the way. I think I won that earlier tonight. I think because I think I guessed hams. You were going to give me a second chance. Go back and look at the podcast.
He wants a recount.
No, but we calculated that.
I do.
Even had we give you hams, you still Daniela calculated it. Even if I had given you those points.
Drinking goat thing.
No, Patrick, sorry.
Yeah.
But you know what? Send us a top 10 list. Send us good show names.
And dude,
let's be power. Listen to it.
Dude, you Googled the
drinking up the power.
When one of these 20 callers don't call in on the 17th or whatever the date is.
Yeah.
Can I be whatever, the reserve or whatever?
No. Dude, you Googled the drunken goat for one.
Yeah, I know I cheated, okay? I'm there's no doubt that I cheated.
All right, so don't talk to me about second chances.
I'm just talking about honesty.
I appreciate that, and I believe in redemption. But
I'm just asking to be a reserve. The 21st guy.
Yeah.
Nope.
I don't think so.
No, neither do I.
But they're not.
Do yourself a favor. Be the 16th guy.
I'll tell you.
I want to be the 16th guy.
He does bring up a good point. What are we going to do if we have...
I'm serious, though. I think I got hams. I think if you listen to the the podcast, you'll say, okay, we'll give you a second chance if no one else guesses it. And it was hams the answer.
Yeah, but even if you got it, it still didn't give you enough points.
You were still 100
but you
off.
couple that with,
the momentum, where it would have took you...
I give that to you. Hams was the answer. That's correct.
Yeah, but 100 points shy still.
But just answer the Jamil stuff and then get it.
Yeah.
See, I feel...
I'm not, I am not listening anymore. By the time this whole thing started, I was done with all the podcasts. I honestly couldn't cheat in that fashion.
Yeah.
Morse code.
Right. I kind of feel like we have to deal with this like the way the U.S. doesn't negotiate with terrorists. Because if I negotiate with you...
makes me want to not drop a nuclear bomb
then I have to negotiate with everybody, and I like the hardline policy of no negotiation, because then it doesn't open up the door to everybody wants to negotiate their way in.
He just brought this to another level.
You and President Bush have a good thing going there.
Shame on you.
Well, Patrick, if you come up with an outstanding talent in 2 weeks, or if you have a fantastic top 10 list, or if you have the name of our show that we really want to be, you're in.
Like, for example, maybe your talent is how quickly you can Google things.
That was quick.
Is that audio, though?
No, it's not audio.
Well, the clicking noise is.
All right.
Well, okay.
Good effort.
Anyway, get Southern California to call in.
Okay,
I'm trying.
Thanks, Patrick.
Okay, thank you.
Peace out.
Right on, brother.
Hey, you guys want to try?
Bug Eater is back, by the way, and he's telling me that the recipe for this beer is actually Danny Kahn's recipe.
Good for her, too.
A great beer. This is going to be one of those nights we never get out of here.
My brother doesn't want to go home now.
Caller, you're on the air.
Hello.
Hey, who are we talking to?
MedTech.
MedTech, what's up, man?
Am I calling number 15?
You're close. You're like 17.
All right.
Yeah. Not quite. What's happening, man?
Not much. Just wanted to call and say hi.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. Hey, aren't you coming out to meet us in New York?
Yes, I am.
All right, that's going to be a good time. So Friday night, you're available for that?
I'm going to be there.
Sweet. All right, we look forward to meeting you, and beer is going to be tasty.
All right, and since you got all these new rules going on, I just thought I'd tell you all to intercourse off.
Thank you, MedTech. I appreciate that.
Have a good night.
You too, brother.
Expletive delete.
Yeah. See, that's the chatters I like.
Yeah, me too.
Be creative.
Hey, we got a Jamil show going on tomorrow?
Yes, we do. It's not live. But there is a Jamil show. We had to pre-record it. Jamil's got some family stuff going on. But all the same information, and I will make that available. I will play it in its normal time slot of 10 a.m. and also make the podcast available. So, hey, want to say thanks to Bug Eater for sending us all the good beer, because everyone's enjoying it. Did you guys open up the second one already?
Barley wine's right up there by you.
I know, too. Caller, you're on the air.
Yeah, it's SoCal Surfer.
Yeah, Surfer. Dude.
No way. Too cool.
Yeah, what's happening, brother?
Well, I'm just
sitting around. I'm supposed to be grading papers, but I'm getting all fucked up instead.
My favorite kind of teacher. What grade school kids you teach?
10, 11, and 12.
That's the grades?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
nice. Nice little high school. Okay, and you're supposed to be grading papers. Instead, you're hanging out with us getting shitty.
That's pretty much what's happening, yeah.
So are you one of those, like, hungover angry teachers?
Yeah.
No, I already called in sick tomorrow, actually. I gotta go to the dentist.
Nice.
I hate you, Doc.
No problem. What part of Southern Cal are you in?
So I'm all paranoid. I'm just drinking beer, like, not wanting to go.
Oh, you really are going to the dentist?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're scary.
Himself.
They're scary.
What's the procedure?
I'm gonna get evaluated for some implants.
Nice.
Oh, get double D's.
I can just walk around and feel myself up.
Your students will love you.
You probably never leave the house again.
Hey, yeah.
He'll be teaching sex ed after that.
Hey, Doc, not to scare the shit out of Surfer here, but the implants hurt, don't they? Because they, like, screw them in?
No, most people will tell me that it's so much easier than many of the other procedures that I do.
Is it really?
Yeah.
So wait, what are the other procedures?
What's that?
How much is it going to cost me? That's the question.
You're a teacher, you can't afford it.
Exactly.
How many arms and legs do you have?
Oh, I don't know, and I'm not going to win this conical, I don't think, so I'm at a bind here, you know?
One of them's about the cost of a conical.
Yeah, I was going to say this conical's going to do nothing for you when it comes to that bill.
How many do you need? And by the way, what happened to your teeth?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. They're saying genetics. I don't buy into that, but whatever, you know.
He didn't, like, knock them out, though.
No, one of them.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with surfing,
I need like 4,
meth.
so.
You need 4.
Yeah.
You got medical. You're a teacher.
Yeah.
You're fine. Don't worry about it.
Hey, you know what? It'll be the best thing you ever did once it's all done and over with.
Are they going to be detachable?
I don't know. I don't know shit about this. You have to ask Doc.
Doc, are they going to be permanent or detachable?
Are they all in a row?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably not.
Detachable?
No.
Hey, Doc, aren't there some good dentists down on Figueroa?
Yeah.
They do it real cheap down there, like $10. Yeah.
What part of Southern Cal are you in?
L.A.
Go to UCLA. Hey, I hear that UCLA has a good dental program.
You know, they keep graduating people from there. I don't know why.
Yeah. Maybe you can go in like students who are learning to cut hair. You can get some students learning to be dentists.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Nice.
Are they putting you out for it?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just going in, and we'll find out when I get there.
Oh, the evaluation.
It's just get put out.
I'm getting put out right now, man.
Not bad.
Dude, I kind of want to give you something for your pain and suffering.
We got one of the Watermelon Funk shirts still available, the long sleeves.
All right.
Nice!
Are you a large?
An extra large.
Well, you have to squeeze in then.
So you say to all the women, right?
You know what else I got some hops. You want some hops?
I love hops.
They're going to be sent to you from Australia, even. No, but they're all fresh.
Nice and fresh.
I got this listener in Australia who wants to donate some hops. He wanted me to do it mostly to Australian listeners, but he said I could do it wherever, too. So how about I think they're Saz hops. And he might send you an ounce or something. Dude, you can't smoke them, man. You brew, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
It'd be great putting that on the customs forms, cousin.
Yeah, cousin. They won't know the difference. All right, we're gonna send you some stuff.
Awesome.
Hang on the line, Daniela will take down your information. Or you just want to email? All right, email your information to Daniela. Daniela@thebrewingnetwork.com, and we'll send you some stuff.
Awesome. Hey, thanks, you guys. You guys kick ass.
Hey, thanks, dude. Hey, good luck tomorrow, man.
Good luck tomorrow, dude.
Hey.
We'll see what happens.
Take whatever pain and suffering you receive, you take it out on Doc when we come back.
Hey,
he sounds like he's taking a beating already.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. Shoot me an email tomorrow. Let me know how it went.
All right on, man.
Thanks, brother.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys.
Cheers.
Hey, Bug Eater would like to let me know that Barley Wine we're just trying took first place in a competition, and he will be entering this one in the NHC comp in June.
Should do well. It's a nice beer.
Want to try another one?
That vanilla was just unbelievable.
That was killer.
Yeah, that vanilla porter, that mouthfeel was just huge.
The nose on that is killer.
Yeah.
I hope you didn't want constructive criticism, Bug, because you apparently are on the right track. Bug's a good guy, nice guy. Listen, all you listeners are real cool out there. Don't think just because we get the people on the phone here that we're all best friends or anything. We know some people because they've introduced themselves, but we welcome everybody, all you new users too. So please don't be afraid to send us emails, call us up, join the chat room, and have a good time with everybody.
Most importantly, send
and of course, send beer.
You can get familiar too.
That's right.
We won't tell you where to send it, but send it.
But send it, exactly. All right, does that do it? Have I covered everything?
I'm not sure.
Probably not.
Wait. Do we have one beer?
I always forget.
Yeah,
something.
let's taste another one.
You want to taste
I think his.
Listen to this.
I think his beers deserve really high appreciation. They're great.
Absolutely.
So let's do it.
Just don't know if everyone wants to listen to us tasting them.
Well, whatever. I want to try them. I could sit here all night long.
That barley wine is nice, isn't it?
Yeah. Went down real smooth.
Ask how old is the barley wine already? Can you ask him that, Daniela? Sure. I'm curious.
It might have a date on it.
It did.
Bug Eater, why don't you call us up? 888-401.
He can't. He lives in a region where all the phones, all the cable, everything went down. He's lucky enough to have internet.
It was 30605.
Yep. Oh, okay. Wow. That's like 10 years old. It's really good. Right?
You're a tart.
Thank you. And which one are you opening now?
This is the Poor Richard's Ale.
Oh, okay.
No.
Nope.
No, not the
Cranberry Sizer.
The Sizer that we were supposed to drink a couple weeks ago.
I thought these were all
Blackberry.
pears. Sorry. Was it Blackberry?
All right.
Yes.
Apparently I can't read now.
Yeah.
These winter warmers are dangerous.
Yeah, well, that's what you get out of the Winter Warmer show. I hope you all got all your questions answered and all the information that you needed out of the Winter Warmers. I'll give these guys enough time to take a sip and give their evaluation, and then we are out of here for 2 weeks.
Purple
Look at the color.
The color looks great.
It's purple.
Doc's voice is back.
Yeah, my voice is back a little bit better.
At the end of the show, Doc's like ready to go. You guys want to start the show now?
Big acid.
The beer ass. Or Doc?
He said ass.
Both.
Beer. Yeah, it is a little acidic.
It's beautiful. I love that. Wouldn't go over well commercially, but for...
Yeah, that's a nice beer.
Yeah.
It'll get your date drunk.
It'll get her drunk.
All right, everybody. I want to thank you a lot for tuning in, and good luck if you're still trying to register. And we'll be back in 2 weeks where we'll register 2 more people. It's a talent show. If you're an archive listener, send us your top 10 reasons that Jamil Zainasheff is sexier than Pamela Anderson. Of course, if you don't know who Jamil is, you can tune in to the Jamil Show tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. and get an idea of what we're talking about. Or you can go to you can go to MrMalty.com. That's right. MrMalty.com is Jamil's website. You can check it all out. We're going to go finish our winter warmers. I hope you do the same, and we'll see you in 2 weeks right back here on the Brewing Network. Thanks, everybody.
Night.
And to all, a good night.
Good night, Dave.
Good night, Dave.
Brown, they should know how to get down. Double and triple on my best friend. I think I'll have them all over again. But don't you give me that American crude for the one a real homebrew. Homebrew, don't you really love that homebrew? Can't get enough of it. Homebrew, it blows my mind. I love homebrew all of the time. Yeah, I think I'll have that. Well, I'll have that one right now. Summer day, a bark will do me when the skies are gray. I'll take a Belgian brew anytime, and the women things and lambic fine. But don't you give me that American crude, boys, I want a real homebrew. Homebrew, don't you really love that homebrew? Can't get enough of it. Homebrew, it blows my mind.